Her unwarranted removal. What are your thoughts on that? We'll talk a lot about health, about our heart health, about our brain health. We'll talk also about the PIAC report. PIAC has released a new report, and in it, what has suffered is the Agenda 111 funding. How are we going to look for alternative funding if we are not relying on our mineral resources? This and more is what we'll talk about. Of course, we'll head to the courts as well. A lot has been happening over the weekend, and today, a number of things will happen on the corridors of the judiciary. Please be my guest. Let me start by motivating you. Our motivation this morning is by Carmelo Anthony, who says, every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. So you know that in order to succeed, you would have to chase your dreams. Sometimes it is difficult, especially coming from a weekend. You're reeling from the weekend enjoyment, weekend activities, and then lack of motivation. Sometimes you're struggling to get out of bed. But I'm here to tell you that your dreams are valid. So wake up, smell the coffee, and go chase them. Let me help you improve your English language reading and then writing. Kind Ketsy, the extra tall man.
Today's word is Z-E-S-T. Again, Z-E-S-T, zest. It can function both as a noun and a verb. In this example, it is functioning as a noun. Zest simply means great energy and enthusiasm. Let's exemplify it. Hey, it's a brand new week. Get out, go earn your keep with some zest. Zest.
Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Go earn your keep with some zest. You need that enthusiasm. You need some energy. I used to hate Mondays, but interestingly, now Mondays are gradually becoming one of my favorite days because they give me a great start to a new week. Whatever happens on a Monday dawn, Monday morning, I do not allow it to affect my mood, because guess what? When you start your Monday on a negative note, very often it affects the remaining days of the week. So start with some enthusiasm. Start with some zest. Let me pump you up. I know you're all lazy and groggy. Get up with our video of the day. morning. Let's now head to the courts. All right, so let's head to the courts now, and Captain has joined me. All rise, we're in court. Captain, good morning.
Good morning, Lily. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Still in the pink month, right?
Yes.
I love your costume this morning.
Thank you.
Who are you wearing?
Oh, who am I wearing? I'm actually wearing Mattis Closet.
Oh, okay.
She's located at Westland. She made it for me.
Yeah.
Come again?
You're looking so dapper as usual.
Thank you.
Today is Monday morning.
I know.
Yeah,
you know, I used to hate Mondays. I'll tell you.
No, your
that.
outfit alone tells me that you are really energized and pumped up for the morning.
I am hopeful for a beautiful week.
Beautiful week. Yeah, we are hopeful and we
Absolutely.
anticipate a fruitful one.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. Yes. And how was the weekend too for you?
My weekend was restful. Interesting. I rested a lot this weekend. Yeah. So I enjoyed my weekend.
You did enjoy your
Usually there are a lot of activities on weekends, but lately I've told myself that, Charlie, weekends, dear, that is my resting time, my resting moment. So a lot of activities for weekends. I've shelved them.
For some of us, we wish the weekend is now coming because it's been a very busy one. Very
Tell me
busy
about
weekend.
it.
Very busy weekend because we had to do a lot of family stuff, a lot of rounds and all of that. It's not been easy this weekend.
I know, but you know.
We are here to serve.
We are here to serve Mother Ghana.
Yes.
What's happening on the corridors of the judiciary this morning?
So, not too long ago, there was a big news in our country with respect to the justice delivery system and with respect to the judiciary, because there was a petition, there were some petitions that the president received in consultation with Council of State. A committee was formed headed by Justice Gabriel Scott Pwaman, an Article 146 committee. The essence of that committee is to investigate into those petitions that have been received, which primarily was seeking the removal of Justice Gertrude Tokonu at the time. Fast forward, September 1, the committee presented its reports and recommendations and findings to the president and effectively recommended the removal of Justice Tokonu, then the Chief Justice. And since September 1, she has been removed from office and she's no longer the Chief Justice. But perhaps even before that, we've seen a lot of action, legal action, lawsuits and all of that. High Court, Supreme Court, even there's one still pending at the ECOWAS Court and all of that. But just last week, there was another action that her lawyers had filed this time around at the High Court. And guess what she is seeking? She's seeking some very interesting reliefs. Can we have the artwork on the... So, as you can see on your screens, these are some of the reliefs that the Lady Chief Justice, per the latest action that she has filed at the High Court, is seeking. She said, look, you have looked at all that has happened and within the committee sitting, and they want the proceedings of Justice Gabriel Palmer quashed. They want it reversed because she thinks that it didn't follow the laid-down procedure, the laid-down rules, and all of that. And we saw earlier, she had press conferences, detailed some of her concerns and all of that. So fast forward, she's actually saying that, look, the High Court should quash that particular outcome, which led to her removal from office. Let's look at the next one and see which other relief that the Lady Chief Justice was seeking or is seeking by way of this very committee. And you note that when the report was presented to the president, the findings came, the recommendations were made for the removal. The secretary to the president was the one that signed a communique to her in relation to the fact that you have been removed from office. She said that that particular act should also be reversed. They're communicating to her that no, you have been removed from office. She has issues with that, so she wants the High Court to quash that particular letter.
But who would she rather have that letter signed? The president himself?
The president himself.
Okay.
The law is very expensive, and for the lawyers and law students, they want, as far as she can, let's see how the actions will expand our jurisprudence in all of that. So that's one of the things that the lady, Mrs. Tokonu, is seeking. But as we speak, she's no longer the Chief Justice. Justice Paul Bafuboni is in acting capacity and all of that. So yet again, you note that the warrant from the president to remove her from office also, there was another that communicated to her that you are no more a justice of the Superior Court or a justice of the Supreme Court. So one, you off as a Chief Justice. That initially did not affect her role as a judge. And the warrant also stated clearly that once you have been removed as a Chief Justice, your job as a Justice of the Supreme Court also ends. So that particular warrant, Mrs. Tokonu is saying that, no, I have issues with that. The High Court should quash it. So as per the orders that she's seeking, by way of reliefs that she's seeking, is one of the things that she's also saying that the High Court should do for her. And interestingly, Lily, she said her salaries, you know, ever since she's been sacked and all of that, she's asking for those salaries to be given to her, her benefits and all of that. So very interesting route to travel to, but by the way that just Mrs. Tokonu has filed another action at the High Court. And in fact, she's asking that the vetting of Justice Paul Bafuboni, who has been nominated for vetting as a Chief Justice, she's saying that, look, the vetting, he should be prohibited from being vetted to become the substantive Chief Justice and all of that. So these are interesting things that will come up and I will follow through and all of that. But in brief, the lady Chief Justice is saying that the manner in which she was kicked out of office, she has issues with it. The committee sitting, the warrant that communicated her removal as a Chief Justice, as a Justice of the Supreme Court, she's asking all of that to be reversed, including stopping the vetting of Chief Justice nominee, Justice Paul Bafuboni.
Interesting times ahead. So what else are we looking at from the corridors of the
So, National Signals Bureau, Kwabna Edubuahin, Madred Donko, Angela J. of course, Advantage Solutions. So, just before we went to last Friday's sitting, the Attorney General the day before filed a notice of withdrawal in respect of the third accused person, Madred Donko. And on Friday, the decision was, or prayer from the Office of the Attorney General led by Dr. Jetrem Sai, the Deputy Attorney General, was to the effect that their prayer is to have the third accused discharged from the case. Lawyers of Kwabena Edubuahin, Angela J. Boateng and Advantage Solutions had issues with the man. I note that they make the point that these are minor, the case before the court and the manner in which the charge sheet had been drafted and then the brief act came, you do not need to go and amend the whole charge sheet. It's something that you can just correct with the pen, you sign against it, and it's done in court. I've seen a number of times that, okay, there's an error somewhere, we need to cancel it, then you draw the court attention to it. Then once you cancel, you sign against it. So the Deputy Attorney General makes the point that if you look at nothing much is changing, but it's only the portion of Madred Donko that they want to cancel with a pen. Samuel Atacha had an issue with this after fought, but he raised an objection. The court also listened to all of them. Justice John Nyantenyedu was of the view that that is insignificant to that particular what was supposed to happen in court, and consequently that objection was overruled. And then Madred Donko was discharged. So as you speak, even in respect of that particular case where initially the 4 accused persons are facing 11 counts, as we speak, Madred Donko has 2 counts. So those 2 counts have been taken off. So now you have 9. The 9, Kwabena Edubuahin, the wife Angela J. Boateng, of course, Advantage Solutions, will be the one to be responding to those charges in relation to the 49.1 million Ghana Cedi National Signals Bureau, which was supposed to have been used to purchase some cybersecurity defense and all of that. And it didn't end there. The second prosecution witness, in the person of Edith Ruby Edumwa, who had worked with Kwabena Edubuahin for so many years, was or is currently in the witness box. And one characteristic of this very case is that it has been fixed for only Fridays. So Fridays, when that case come out from 9 o'clock to 4 p.m., the whole day has been dedicated to this case. And the reason the court did that was that the court said it's looking at the schedule of the lawyers and all of that. It doesn't want to come today, come tomorrow, and come on Wednesday or 3 times in a week. So let's rather come on Friday, and then we'll have this thing done and all of that. So, but before then, there was some fierce exchanges between Deputy Attorney General and Samuel Atachia. When Samuel Atachia made a prayer, Dr. GHOne also responded. And instead of responding on the point of law, he seeks to re-argue and to reply that one, which the Deputy Attorney, even the court indicated that, look, that is not how it is going to be done, because they were in chambers, had a plan on how to go about the response and how to go about. And then when they came, it appears that Samuel Atachia wanted to do otherwise, based upon what they have agreed on. But after front and back, the court had to make a decision on all of that. We've been speaking to Samuel Atachia moments after the case ended. The case was adjourned. Let's hear from him.
An accused person, I do not know the consideration, has become a prosecution witness. So you could see that the Attorney General is in an indecent haste to rehabilitate the case. Because as a matter of fact, the Attorney General has published to the whole world that the third accused is into money laundering activities with the first and second accused. So what has changed? And guess who signed it? The Attorney General signed this before the court. And the charge sheet says so. So right now, what has changed for the Attorney General to have, if you like, a heel somersault and say that right now, the one that have accused us being involved in money laundering should come and testify against the people he was charged with.
So, Samuel Atachia there, and giving us some perspective after the case was adjourned. So that's one of the things that the second prosecution witness, Edith Ruby Edumwa, is currently in the witness box giving testimony. The first witness has been discharged. We do not know. What we know officially is that the prosecution is calling 3 witnesses. Okay. One is done, the second is in, and then the third will come. But with a discharge of the third accused person, which we have heard that she is going to be used as a second prosecution witness. We are waiting to see if the state will file a supplementary witness statement in relation to that.
And then the National Service Authority case?
What were you expecting on Friday?
I was expecting the appearance.
Yes.
I was expecting the case to officially commence.
Absolutely.
So we know how far it's going to travel.
Yes. So the whole of the week, last week, we were anticipating that case to come up. And rightly so, the cases or the charge sheet were put before 2 respective courts. Let me start with LCCB entry. His case was put before Justice Kizita, now called Akwashi, Criminal Court 5. And when the case was called, the Director of Public Prosecution indicated that they got the hearing notice to appear in court quite late. And so it is the reason the accused person is not in court. The accused person, who was represented by a lawyer that day, the lawyer was not properly clothed, made a prayer that, look, he was informed an hour before the time for the court hearing. So where he was at the time was practically impossible for him to even be properly robed at the time. So their prayer was that some time be given. What the DPP prayed, Mrs. GHOne Atakra Obobisa
That's the
prayed,
Director of Public Prosecution.
absolutely, was to the effect that he should be made to report to NIB today. And the court has made that order. Initially, we have been told that he's supposed to report to NIB in Kumasi on certain Mondays. Now, he's supposed to do that in Accra. Then he will be informed as to when he's supposed to make an appearance in court. So today, when he appears, we'll know whether tomorrow, the next day, or when exactly Osei entry, who is facing 14 counts, which is comprised into 7 charges, will be in court to respond to that ghost name scandal that we are told that over 60,000 ghost names were made up, put together, and allegedly used to claim some funds, which the state lost in respect of this whole thing. So his case, that is what happened. Then Gifty Owari Mensah, she also appeared. Her case was put before the Criminal Court 4.
But she
Justice,
was not present.
She wasn't present. Okay. She wasn't present. Justice Audrey Kokuvite's court. And when the case was called, her lawyer, Gary Nimakun, indicated to the court that he was giving some medical excuse duty when he came to the court, suggesting that his client is unwell and will need 2 days. She has been given 2 days off.
Excuse
duty.
Okay.
So that's what they are putting before the court. At this particular point in time, the court, upon trying to get clarity on how the lawyer got the excuse duty and all of that, was unhappy, and court was of the view that I think that some delay is being orchestrated. So the court was the video. I probably ask the police to investigate this whole excuse duty and all of that, because the court really thinks that the court is not clear in its mind, but consequently they have to agree for the 2 days, and that case has been adjourned to Wednesday, 22nd of October, and that day we expect Gifty Owari Mensah to appear before the court to respond to her version of the charging, the count. In respect of her, she is facing 5 counts, which is put together 4 charges and all of that. So that is what happened by way of the ghost names scandal and all of that. The 2 were expected on Friday, none of them show up, but for various reasons and all of that. So Wednesday specifically, we will have Gifty Owari Mensah appear. But for LCCB entry, today when he appears before the NIB, he will be informed, and they will keep monitoring that to know when is he also going to appear before the court. Absolutely.
I know that today the former SkyTrain man, Professor Christopher Mayor, I don't know why I keep calling him.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's noted for SkyTrain in the last couple of months.
Yes,
so
yes, it's a name.
That's the best description.
When you mention his name now,
yes,
SkyTrain
it's synonymous with
but I remember this man way back in secondary school, been hearing his name, Professor Christopher Mayor, and all of that.
Yes.
Yes, so he's before the court. Last Monday, he appeared before the court, and remember that we told you that he said, look, he has some issues with his lawyers, and they are working things out to ensure that they resolve that misunderstanding and all of that, after the lawyers officially wrote to the court to withdraw their services. Now, the second accused person, the first accused person, Professor Christopher Mioku is the second accused person. But the first accused person, Solomon Asamoah, who is the former chief executive, and his lawyers, led by Mrs. Victoria Bath, they have filed a motion. They want a stay of proceedings. And that motion, the hearing date is today. So this morning at 8:15, the court presided over by Justice Audrey Kokuvite will hear them on that particular motion. They have the trial is supposed to commence, but because of this motion, they have to deal with the motion first before anything else could be done in relation to that. So this morning, that case is coming up, and there's many other cases that we look forward to by way of what we are bringing to you by court today. So, Lily, there's a picture I wanted to show you. Director, let's have the picture of the... So this morning on court today, we are wishing Her Honor, Mrs. Sedina Awo-Kwadam, the circuit court judge.
Oh, okay.
Saturday was her birthday.
Okay.
So this morning, we are saying that, my lady, enjoy your
happy
day.
Birthday.
Yes. She's one of them. In fact, for those who have had the opportunity to visit her court, and I'm privileged to have visited her court, Circuit Court 7 in Accra. And she has been nominated for elevation to the Supreme Court. And quite very soon, the judges will be going to the High Court. Her name is one of them. Her name is part of it. And
to the High Court, not the Supreme Court?
No, to the High Court. To the High Court. So from the
wondering, from the Circuit you go to the High Court.
To the High Court. But she's been at the Lekma District Court. From there, went to Adenta. Then she's back in Accra and all of that. Over that the weekend, it was her birthday, so we want to celebrate her honor. Mrs. Sedna Awo-Kwadam. Happy birthday to you. She, in fact, like I mentioned, when you go to a corner, you're a student, the way she takes you through the processes, you always love to have such a judge to be your mentor. So happy belated birthday, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. That should do for court today. We take a break, and when we return, I guess we'll do the breakfast duty. On the Breakfast Review this morning, I've been joined by a former head of information for the Ghana mission to the United Nations, Kofi Amial, and Richard Suma. He's Deputy General Secretary for the United Party. I'm sure you'd all recall last week that the Movement for Change announced that they have now metamorphosed into the United Party. But some say that, well, they are trying to copy the traditions of the UP party, which was the original NPP. Are they going back to their roots? Are they trying to steal the ideologies of the New Patriotic Party upon its formation? Richard, I'm sure, has a lot of answers to that. Richard, good morning. How are you?
Very fine. Good morning to yourself. You're looking good.
Thank you.
In your green. Green looks good on you, eh?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And to my co-panelist, my senior, good morning to all your cherished viewers and the entire production team this morning.
Kofi, good morning. How are
Good morning, Lily. How are you?
I'm doing
Yeah, I'm not going to be nice to you. You know that. So, good morning.
What did I do this time?
Really? I don't know my...
Anyway, let's talk about the United Party. Movement for Change says it is now United Party. What went into the idea for the name United Party? Is it because Alan was once a stalwart of the New Patriotic Party, so he still believes in the Dankwa Buzia Dombo tradition, which originally was the UP? Is that the main ideology behind the United Party? Are you going back to the roots of the New Patriotic Party?
No. Well, like I said, I would like to say once again a good morning to all the people of Ho Central and to Alan and to the entire leadership of the United Party, a new baby which has been born. It was born on a Thursday, and this new baby is poised for growth, and is poised for success, and is poised for prosperity. There is, for likes of me, you know, I have not been a member of the NPP. You know me very well that I was one of the independent presidential candidate hopeful. But along the line, I believe that there was a need for us to forge a common alliance to prosecute the last 2024 election agenda. Therefore, I was contacted and I joined the Alliance for Revolutionary Change. But I haven't had the privilege of working with Alan, but I've observed him over the years as an observer. But getting closer to him, I realize he's kind of a very meticulous individual, pay attention to detail, wide in scope in terms of knowledge. He has forthrightness, he has intelligence. He has so many things that to me resonated very well with me. Therefore, I decided to stick with him and then work with him throughout the campaign. In as much as he couldn't perform very well, or we couldn't perform very well, there were some underlying factors that contributed to his inability to perform sufficiently well. But be that as it may, there's always the need for us to, because democracy is about competition. It is not limited to say that the Constitution mandate or stipulate that we can only have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 political parties in this country. Therefore, it is always incumbent upon anybody who believes that he has something tangible or something reasonable to offer the country to make himself available. So you can decide to make yourself available and contest on any vehicle that you deem fit that is prudent for you. So now, he was a member of the New Patriotic Party of old, or the New Patriotic Party. He was once a member. He moved away from it to run as an independent presidential candidate, but he needed a vehicle to do that. So the initial vehicle was the Movement for Change, because if you look at it critically, prior to the 2024 election, both left, right, front, middle, center, every aspect of Ghana was actually agitating for change. So in as much as he got just about 30,000, he's also contributed significantly to the change that massively affected our brothers from the New Patriotic Party. So after the election, he went around the country, all of us, some of us participated, some of us were with him in some of the regions, and pegged all the engagement that he has had. Consensus was built that, look, you know, Ghanaians love you. Ghanaians believe in your personality. They believe in the fact that Alan is a very refined gentleman, and nobody can take that away from him. And he has been in the political space over several decades, but there is no iota of corruption, there is no iota of arrogance, there is no iota of any misdemeanor or anything that anybody can pinpoint to suggest that based on this, Alan is a weakling, Alan doesn't have the aptitude and fortitude to rule this country. So at the end of the day, we all told him or admonished him that, look, before you can be relevant in the political space of this country, you need to form a political party. So there was a lot of consultations back and forth. Then eventually, We had to appoint some interim leadership across the region. Then we had the national interim leaders appointed. Then after, we drafted a constitution, did everything that has to be done to meet the requirements of the Electoral Commission. So that has been done. So to answer your question about the UP and what, look, do you know the formation of the UP of old? The UP of old was simply formed based on the fact that the then President Kwame Nkrumah was passing the Avoidance of Discrimination Act. And let me tell you, in those days, for you to be forming political parties on religious line, on tribal line, was a chaos, was a remedy for disaster.
Okay.
You know, it was completely disaster because you are an emerging country. You just came out from what? A colonization. So for you to allow citizens to be forming parties based on tribal line, then you will not have a country to govern because there will be tribalism, and you know how we are passionate about tribe, how we are passionate about religion. So he wanted to avoid that. So it was not any confusion that Kwame Nkrumah brought. He was trying to streamline the system and put everybody under check and balance. Okay. That is the only way we could move forward as a country after independence. So when that happened, you know, we had the Anglo Youth, we have the NLM was there, we have the Gamashi people, they also had a party, we had the Voter Congress, we have the Northern People's Congress. There were so many fragmented groups which were all being formed on political lines. So apparently, per my information that I've gotten and per the history suggests that the then Otunfo or the then Ashanti king asked one of his key allies to really mobilize around the country to put this group of people together. So the NLM was part of a group. So the NLM was the Busia aspect of the amalgamation, okay? Because others came on board. And per the information I also have, and per the history suggests that when they did all that assessment, the one who came with the highest number was the Northern People's Party or something of that sort. But then again, the one who led the Northern People's Party yielded to Busia, that Busia to be the one to represent them, and which he did. And you know that the history of the UP of the past is not really a history that we could be proud of, sincerely, because they were virtually like a kind of an anti-Nkrumahist political, ideological orientation people. Okay. But then again, after they themselves, they broke away. They broke away. They started, but they couldn't survive. Okay. You understand? So they broke away. Then in the process of breaking away, then came the new patriotic party along the line. Okay? But the UP is not a bona fide property of anybody. UP was a grouping of people who came together. It was an amalgamation of political parties. So there were 7 in all. But today we hear Dankwa Buzia Dombo. It's only Dankwa Buzia Dombo who formed the UP of old. Obviously not. There were other people who participated in it. So why would you silence the remaining 4 and then zero in on Dankwa, Buzia, and Dombo? So should anybody telling you today, laying claim to the fact that Alan formed UP and the UP was originally DS, then the person must be hallucinating. Okay. Because the UP is not a bona fide property, and you have also not patented it. Because we are in a present dispensation.
So that is why the now United Party wants to patent it.
Yes, of course, because if you have a name and you want to patent it, you should patent it, make it a trademark, so that in perpetuity, nobody can use the same acronyms.
So does it mean that Alan still believes in the ideals of the NPP? Because you say that the NPP did not, at the time, did not patent the UP.
And
so Alan has taken
respectfully,
it up.
Alan don't have a challenge with the ideology of the new patriotic party. He had challenges with the system, the systemic failure of the party. You understand, to adhere to equity, fairness, transparency, accountability, and to put the people of God and country first above the interest of the party. So he had challenges with the fact that the party was not putting the interest of the citizenry above the interest of the party. So, like I said, if today people are divorcing their husbands and wives, why are we doing so? If you really think that a good or a bad marriage, you should stick in it in perpetuity, why are you divorcing your wives and divorcing your husband? Because everybody believes that we have independent of thought. So Alan obviously has an independent of thought. So for anybody to suggest that Alan is disgruntled with the NPP and his ideology, no. He had issues with a certain group of leadership when the party evolved to a certain stage in their political history. So therefore, nobody can say that Alan is bitter or disgruntled or anything with the NPP party. But then again, we are now talking about a centrist ideology. For me, as Richard, I am a radical left-oriented person. Okay, radically left. But you see, in global politics today, people are gravitating towards the center because you see, these are the two folds: center right, center left. And the center right believe that whatever we are doing, it's in our interest. We believe that whatever we do, we absolutely associate ourselves and defend it tooth and nail. The center left is also telling you that they believe in their ideologies and principles, good or bad. So we realize that in Ghana, for instance, anything that NDC of today is doing, good or bad, they are mandated to attack it whichever way. Because they will not allow you to praise the center left because they think that when you praise them, it is to their detriment. The center left too, when the right is doing something and the left decide to praise you that, oh, at least you are doing well in this space. No. Don't ever try to praise them. So if you have a country that is running in these two parallel dimensions, one to the left, one to the right, we are going into a complete ditch. That is why we are of the view that the ideology of the UP of old was a centrist ideology, where they thought that
you are adopting.
We are adopting the centrist ideology of the UP of old, that we need to merge, we need to find a common ground for us to be able to galvanize the base, harness energies, build synergy, that will be able to metamorphose this country into prosperity. Simply, that is the reasoning behind the name. But then don't forget, he did several consultations, and then there were several names that came up. But the reason is that, you see, it's politics. I'm a marketing expert. So in politics, you must do something that can resonate with people. They must bring about some nostalgia. You must do something that immediately brings about conversation around the subject matter. So you see, today, we use UP. If you had used any other name, there wouldn't have been a lot of conversation surrounding this issue. But because you brought the UP, it has been able to
the movement for change now, UP, decided to dwell on NPP's past glory.
We are not dwelling on. You see, like I keep saying that NPP cannot lay claim to the UP of old. Because the NPP themselves, many of them emerged from the CPP. So if we are talking about Ghana's political history, we need to go to the Aborigine right, because that is the foundation of every political movement in this country. So CPP emerged out of what? UGCC. Isn't that the case? So at the end of the day, UP was formed. Out of UP came what? NPP. So why would any other person say to you today that the UP of old that we emerge out of is our bona fide property, is our base, therefore you cannot use it or you cannot lay claim to it?
Okay. Kofi, I've heard your Director of Communications say that, well, for the NPP, you are not concerned about the United Party. As a party, are you truly not concerned about the United Party? Knowing that a number of your members are now part of the United Party, the UP.
Well, Lily, first and foremost, I think that we are not concerned about the activities. But we are not naive of their impact. Let's be fair. Though Ghanaians would not necessarily vote for Alan or his party, but especially in 2024, there was an impact that was made. So, for example, Alan was a member of the New Patriotic Party. He had some followings. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the opportunity to lead the party. And he cited several reasons as to why he decided to break away from the MPP. The Deputy General Secretary has said that it was because of systematic challenges. So if you're a member of the New Patriotic Party, especially around that time and that period, there was an issue of apathy. People were disgruntled, people were not happy with the system. So a member would not necessarily vote for Alan, but that person would feel like, after all, our party is fighting among itself, so I won't even vote for the party. So that is the effect that breakaway, especially in 2024, caused. But fast forward, now they have decided to form a political party. And among the reasons why they formed the political party, according to the deputy CEO of the...
Deputy General Secretary.
I mean, the secretary is the CEO.
Well, depending on their party tradition.
So let's be strict here. The deputy General Secretary of the party, among the reasons, he cited that Ghanaians love him. I think that is not true. That is false.
The Ghanaians loved Alan.
Alan.
Okay.
That's not true. That is extremely false.
Okay.
And I think if the party is formed based on this premise, as soon as practicable, it must reconsider the reason why, and especially those who intend to join the UP must reconsider their decision, because clearly, per the results of the 2024 elections, Alan is not loved. He is not really needed by the Ghanaian people.
Okay.
He is a good man. I respect him. I respect what he has done for this country. I respect what he has done for himself. But clearly, the election results in 2024 demonstrated that he's not the one they want.
Okay.
And to the extent that somebody who was not even a politician just burst into the political limelight 2 years, barely 2 years, was able to beat him more than 3 times. If I'm referring to Cheddar. Kwame Bediako garnered over 80,000 votes. Alan did a little over 30,000 votes. We are talking about a political colossal. Somebody who has been in a political system for decades.
Yeah.
And for him to perform the way he did, that abysmal. I don't think that for you to join the party on the basis that he is loved is weak. Again, I don't know why you are a general secretary of a party that you don't even know the history of its roots and its tradition, the UP. The UP was not formed as a result of its opposition to Nkrumah, and you use the word anti-Nkrumah.
No, I said, respectfully, just to explain, I said the UP was formed, they were an amalgamation of 7 different political parties.
Okay.
And out of it emerged the NPP.
No. You made a point that the UP was an anti-Nkrumah party.
I said, yes. Yeah, look the history of the...
Don't, please, with greatest of respect to you.
Talk, respect.
The UP was not an anti-Nkrumah party. The UP had a tradition. Okay. And our tradition, our core values, and our core value is that we believe in liberating the energies of every Ghanaian, ensuring that every Ghanaian will prosper. Like he rightly alluded to, their school of thoughts, or there are 2 ideologies, and predominantly either to the west or to the east, like to the left or to the right. And we believe we are a conservative party. The UP tradition is a conservative party that believes that you, the individual, as a government, we must ensure that you do well. We believe in the private sector. That is why when the UP had the opportunity to rule in the Fourth Republic, our president at that time, President Kufuor, used the phrase, the private sector is the engine of growth. So that is the tradition of the UP. The UP was not formed on the basis that we were anti-Nkrumah. In any event, the tradition of the UP came from UGCC. And if there is anybody who was who fought the system, it was Nkrumah. It's the river. So please, kindly go back to your history. But having said that, I think that they have the right to form their political party. In as much as we all agree that they will not make any inroads as far as the road to the Jubilee House is concerned, it creates a fine opportunity for the individuals in the party, especially the executive. Today, he is here with the title Deputy General Secretary of UP, a political party. He goes on to his CV. Before the 2024 elections, you will have individuals who belong to the movement for change or change for movement.
Movement for change.
Who were appearing on TV shows. If not for that, probably they wouldn't be, appearing on TV shows. And then, of course, maybe the MPP did not create enough opportunities for everybody. So they thought that, when they go there, they will have that opportunity. Because, for example, if you're a communicator, a good one for that matter, there are a lot of good communicators in the MPP. So it might take you a while before you even be deployed to go on TV stations or radio stations. So if there is, a formation of another party that comes out of MPP, that person might join. But of course, the history of this country really is replete with the fact that political parties that break away from their mother parties do not really succeed and do well. And I was thinking that they would take cue from it. He also made mention of the fact that Alan left the party because of systematic challenges of the New Patriotic Party. That brings into question his ability to lead. Because there is nowhere, especially being a human institution, that you not find problems. Instead of him to have stayed to fix those challenges, anytime he runs away. Okay, I in 2024 was extremely uncomfortable anytime I go on TV and I would have to meet a member of the Movement for Change to have a discussion.
Why?
I don't like it. They are my brothers. They are my sisters. And for us to be engaging back and forth, it makes it a bit uncomfortable for me. Today, I wouldn't have responded to some of the issues he's raised. I wanted to just go to the positive. But I just thought it was necessary for me to point out some few things to him and to the Ghanaian people. That if he left the MPP because of systematic challenges, Lily, I can assure you today, with the greatest of respect, that if you should go to former President Akufo-Addo or President Akufo-Addo and ask him if he had challenges with the MPP, he will tell you yes. If you should go to the former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and ask him if he had challenges with the MPP, he will tell you yes, he does. So everybody in the party has an issue
your
with the party.
Your candidate equally had challenges with the NPP.
As in Honorable Kennedy.
Yes.
So the
and
point,
he was very vocal about it.
I decided to use these two people because they were, the
arrowheads.
Yes.
Okay.
The echelons. So everybody has an issue. The fact that there is an issue doesn't mean you should run away. The former counsel of the president, Kowe Suma, I think over the weekend made a submission and a point that if he had stayed, he would have been a fourth runner in this particular elections for the MPP. You get my point? But unfortunately, he left. And then when you leave, you go back to the very tradition you left. So why didn't you stay to fix it? The party that we are in, we all have issues. We all have challenges. The other day, I was making a point on one of our MPP platforms that there is a gentleman, there is a lawyer who will always come on social media and lambast the party and all of that. And I make the point that this is not right because we all have issues. If you decide to come on TV or go on our Facebook and try to display and vent out our anger and our frustration against the very party that has made us who we are. In any event, the brilliance and the things that he says about Alan Kyerematen could not have been materialized, would not have been seen, if not for the opportunity that was created for him by the New Patriotic Party government. Okay. He served as a minister of trade, the longest serving minister for trade in the history of our Fourth Republic, in fact, in the history of this country. The opportunity was given to him by the New Patriotic Party government, not the NDC, not the CPP. Do you get my point? So if there are issues in the party, you stay and fix it. You don't just leave. That's not what we do. That's not what leaders do. That's what my candidate said in 2023, that I will not leave even in the midst of all the challenges that I see. I will still stay in the MPP and I will make sure I fix it and I eventually will become a leader. Today, as we speak, the majority of the party, the grassroots of the party, not just the party folks, but Ghanaians are calling for him because he stayed. So for me, it's just a little advice, not just to my brother and the UP people, but to every Ghanaian, to every young person who wants to go into the political ecosystem. There's the need for you to realize that once it's a human institution, there will be challenges. And when there are challenges, you don't run away to form your own political party. You stay and you fix it. And I hope this will be something that will guide all of us moving forward. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe if he had stayed in the New Patriotic Party, he probably would have become the president he always wants to be. Unfortunately, he left. And unfortunately,
but he would have been, like correspondence, he would have been like the fourth runner, right?
No, he would first, like fourth. I mean, as in, he would have been
the premier when it comes to flag bearers, right? Choosing a flag bearer. But do you think at the time, before he left, he would have been the fourth runner in this dispensation.
Look.
Because he complained of establishment candidates, the system, like he mentioned, systemic issues that were favoring certain candidates. Do you think those systemic issues are not evident? Because I have seen members of your campaign team complain about these same systemic issues favoring a particular candidate. Do you think that Alan will still have had his opportunity? He will still have had his day with this same systemic issues that he's raised?
I was not too young, I wasn't too old, but I was around in 2007. Mm-hmm. The system favored him. When he contested with the other 16, the system favored him. We know. So, you see, in politics, some of these things, in as much as it might not be favorable, you cannot do away with them. The system at one point or the other will favor one person or the other. But that does not mean that that's what the people want. Sometimes the system would want somebody, but the people themselves will not want that person. So the bottom line is that at the end of the day, I believe that if he had stayed, if he had been steady, if he had been consistent and persistent, I think his dream would have, he would have come close a bit to his dreams. As we speak now, he's oceans apart from becoming the president of the, to the extent that he got 30,000 votes or less than 35,000 votes. The whole of Ghana, for me, is embarrassing. It's extremely embarrassing.
Okay. I'll come to you for that rebuttal. I need to take a quick break. I'll be back shortly. My guests are still here, Kofi Amaya and Richard Suma. We're talking some politics. Kofi said that he wished Alan would have stayed in the New Patriotic Party. He would have probably by now been the front runner as they head to the 2028 general elections. Richard, you have a few...
Yeah, just some quick one. Respectfully to at least address some of the issues my brother raised. One is the fact that Alan was not born with an MPP membership card in his hand from his mother's womb. MPP is a group of people, freedom of association. That is why I gave you a classical analogy that if you divorce your husband or you divorce your wife, why did you divorce? If you think that good or bad, you're supposed to stick and stay together because you took a vow that better for worse, we are going to be in this together. But we as a people, our divorce rate as a country is absolutely high. That should tell you that nothing is cast in stone. We are not stereotyped individuals. We are human beings, and human beings have every fundamental right to decide to change his or her mind. That is cast. There is no ambiguity about that. So if Alan decides that because of systemic challenges, I am no longer going to marry my wife NPP, I'm divorcing my wife NPP and going on a solo journey, I think that is his prerogative. And then again, Alan broke away from the party, and Ghanaians, our understanding about independent candidacy isn't that good. And he made mention of the fact that he had 30,000 votes. There were underlying factors that constituted how he performed and the kinds of votes he got. But nevertheless, even if Alan had had 1,000 Ghanaians voting for him, that is still a group of Ghanaian human beings, not AI humans. Ghanaians who believe that, 1,000 Ghanaians believe that this gentleman has something to offer. That has to be established. Then again, most of the young emerging Ghanaians who were looking for opportunity and who were looking for something that could resonate with them wanted cheddar. And when cheddar came into the picture, cheddar marshaled sufficient resources, the kind of campaign cheddar waged, and the kind of branding he did, the kind of outdoor campaign he did. Just put that against what Alan did. Alan's investment in terms of branding, advertisement, and all these things was a drop in the ocean. And then again, like I said, most of the youth, Alan is not in the youth bracket of our current dispensation or demographics. Alan is like an adult. Alan is getting to 70 years. So, as a matter of fact, the Gen Zs, the youth, the younger ones, could easily gravitate towards cheddar during the 24 election, which was understandable because to them they saw him as a new light. But those who ideally would have supported Alan Chermantane and trooped the polling stations to vote for him knew very, very well that his chances of winning that election was excessively slim. Therefore, most of them decide that either we are voting for John Dramani Mahama to win, or we are absolutely going to abstain ourselves from the voting process. So you realize that even the NDC and the kind of vote they got, the landslide victory they had, they themselves, they weren't expecting it. It came to them as a maximum surprise or as a major surprise because they knew very well that they were not going to win the election because the chances were a bit slim. But when Alan broke away from the party, and based on the apathy, and based on the fact that Alan also galvanized the base of the party, there are still people within the party who true and true support. I was with Alan's campaign in Volta region. And look, I can tell you for the fact that there are many people in Volta today who are throwing their support behind Honorable Kennedy Ajipon. Majority of these people, especially for Volta region, I can't speak for any other region, for Volta region were people who hitherto loved Alan, believed in Alan, and they were part of Alan's team. But they believe that in the absence of Alan, the best person to represent their interests is Honorable Kennedy Ajipon. So even today, I can bet my last penny that if they go into their election on the 31st of January, Volta region, Kennedy Japan is going to floor Baumia in Volta region, because anybody who supports Ken in the region, obviously, is an Alan lover. And then again, like I said, my senior brother said that Ghanaians don't love him because of how he performed. And I'm saying to you today, right here and now, that how he performed in the 2024 election is not the determinant of how he would perform, assuming without admitting that we make him the flag bearer of the United Party in the next election. That does not suggest that he had 30,000 votes, therefore he's going to get 30,000 or he's going to shrink further. But then the issue is that we are building a party on the principles of love, on the principles of equity, on the principles of fairness, on the principles of all-inclusiveness, where Ghana today, we need to wage a complete war against poverty. China knew very well that in the past 80s, 70s to the 90s, China was nowhere. China couldn't compare themselves to Ghana in terms of how we have evolved, in terms of the things we did when Kwame Nkrumah was bringing the nuclear reactors, doing the exploration for oil, bringing all those industries into Ghana. China was a closed circuit to the world. But when China decided to open up to the world, they knew very well that at least 80% of their population were in advert poverty. So they waged a complete war against poverty and won it. So the issue of the fact that Alan is not loved by the people of God and country, I will want to respectfully leave that to the citizenry. Because at the end of the day, I said, it is God who controls the heart of men. So today, I may not be a lover of Alan, but over the few months to come, if Alan positions himself well and speaks well and represents the aspirations of the people, and the people believe that, look, in the absence of John God, look, let me tell you, it is only in our world that we do election based on political party and the plethora of promises they present to us. It's supposed to be the personalities, because you see, NPP as a party, Honorable President Akufo-Addo can stand on the vehicle NPP and win power. They can propose something to the president, but it is not incumbent upon the president to accept anything that comes from the party. It is the president who decides what he wants and what he thinks is the best interest for the country. So, as a matter of fact, going into the 2028 election, it is no longer going to be political party. It is going to be the individual that we are presenting to the people of God and country. So if at the end of the day, we are able to present, assuming without admitting that we present Alan, and we've been able to market him adequately and be able to explain to the people of God and country that this is the man who we believe sincerely can take us to the promised land that we are expected as a people, then again, we are good to go. So my last point is that...
Last point again.
Okay,
because that was a rebuttal.
So no, finish. Look,
I'll conclude by saying this. Lily, let me conclude by saying this. I admitted that he's a fantastic man. He has a lot of ideas. In fact, the issue of infrastructure for poverty eradication, IPEP, was his, I think, was an idea he suggested. Even the one district, one factory, and other policies that he proposed. I think he's still relevant, not just to Ghana, but also to the new patriotic party. I am extremely optimistic that the party, once upon a time, extended a hand to everybody to come back. Unfortunately, they didn't come back. But I can assure you that one day, Alan will come back again. He has done it before. Even if he doesn't join the new patriotic party, his ideas, okay, his experience, his exposure will be tapped into for the betterment of this country. We cannot, for the sake of partisan politics, allow the experience he has acquired and the things that he can do for the country to just go waste. We will tap into his rich experience one day and use it to govern this country, to use it to indeed eradicate poverty in this country, to use it to indeed industrialize this country. And I'm extremely positive and sure that when Honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan becomes the president, the ideas of Alan Kojo Chemati will not go to waste.
Okay, let's touch on the former CJ, GHOne. She's gone to court. She's praying the High Court to prohibit the appointment of her successor and also challenge her benefits that were stripped her. Some people say, shouldn't she let sleeping dogs lie? Others also say she should give it her last fight. What are your thoughts?
I think as long as the Constitution allows her to do what she's doing, she should just continue to do it. It's not just for her, and I think she has made that point. It's not just for me, but posterity as well. And I think that she has to exhaust all the avenues to seek redress, to seek review, and to ensure that at the end of the day, she is satisfied with the system. She has the right to do so. But you see, let's go back a little bit. I think that this removal of the former Chief Justice of the land is a blot on our democracy.
Okay.
And for me, it's a dark mark on the legacy of President John Dramani Mahama.
How is it a blot on our democracy when it is enshrined in our Constitution?
We are talking, in the face of the evidence, it's a serious blot. We are not saying that anybody or somebody is insulated and for that matter can do whatever they want. The Constitution makes provision for even the removal of the president.
Sure.
Okay? The NDC will argue that they use the processes provided for in the Constitution for the removal of the Chief Justice. Let's also be reminded that, number one, the person who petitioned, or the persons that petitioned, at least the one we know, Daniel Ofori, had issues with the personal issues with the Chief Justice at the time. Then the Constitution makes again provision for the fact that there should be some form of consultation or advice from the Council of State. Again, we should be minded that the constitution of that particular Council of State are predominantly members of the president's party. In fact, it's the president who appoints even the chairman of the Council of State. To the extent that the chairman of the Council of State is a former member of parliament for the NDC. And the Speaker of Parliament, for that matter, I don't know if Duadao once served as a minister of state. He didn't.
No, he wasn't.
But he was a member of parliament for the NDC. And he is the chair. The appointment of the committee that is to look into the merits of the petition are also appointed by the president, by his choosing. So if you look at the processes and you tell me they are fair, it's up to you. Of course, the Constitution gives that room or that legal or lawful way of removal of the CJ. But at the end of the day, I believe that there was some sort of dereliction of duty by the Council of State.
Okay.
I say that to the extent that, respectfully, against the backdrop of when President Mahama, once upon a time as a candidate, in GHOne, when he was addressing NDC lawyers, made an allusion and a point, directly or indirectly, that the Supreme Court needs some changes and reset and some restoration and all that, to the effect that he said he doesn't trust if the current CG at that time. So that gave a hint that when he becomes the president, and there is a possibility that he will attempt to change something. But we also should know that we are talking about a head of an arm of government. And there's no history, as far as I remember, that there's a president in this country who has removed an arm of government. And again, when you look at the petition and its merits, so it was based on three issues. One, the fact that she abused her office by transferring a worker there, the IT officer, and the fact that they said she misapplied or misappropriated some funds because she traveled with her spouse and her child. And then the last one was about the fact that she made recommendation as far as Supreme Court judges are concerned. So, Lily, are you telling me when provisions are made for a public servant, that in the provision, in the regulation of the travel policy of the Judicial Council, she can travel and get per diems for the spouse or whoever she travels with? then you come back and tell me, no, you shouldn't have done it. Even though there's a provision in that, Judicial Council travel policy. That is number one. As the head of the judiciary, if she transfers somebody, you have an issue with it. So it's not about the removal necessarily, but it's about the weight of the petition and the things that were said in opposition by the president. So I am saying that the Council of State should have been minded that, look, you might have made certain statements. For you to also go ahead with the processes, especially looking at the weight of the petition, this one, they let it pass you. Unfortunately, he did it. That is why I'm saying that it will be a dark mark on his legacy, because students of political science will one day come and read that once upon a time, there was a removal of the Chief Justice, an arm of government, a head of an arm of government, by you, the president. And I don't think that it will be good for him. Ghanaians have given him an opportunity to redeem himself from his first administration. And I think this one, I don't know if, and I say this respectfully, there were pressures coming from some quarters. If they were, it didn't help him. If they weren't, I think this particular decision indeed has been a blot on our democracy, and it shouldn't really have happened. I don't know at some point whether we'll be able to remedy, to the extent that, look, Lily, even her entitlement, she can't get it. I think this is too harsh.
Because you've been removed, so you've lost access to your entitlements.
It's unfortunate, especially when you look at the petition. For me, somebody asked me, what do I think? I think it's a foregone conclusion. If I were to be her family member, I would have told her she should let it go and focus on other things, because these people were poised and they were determined in their effort to remove her, and they did. They had the law on their side. They had the goodwill of the people. So you see, Ghanaians really don't talk about it.
Well, because one of the things she said was, the law is the law.
The law is the law, but one day we will refer to this. And I'm saying that the law is the law indeed, but it's a blot, whether you like it or not. You remove the Chief Justice of the land. That is serious. Even in the advanced countries, they don't do that. I know. I mean, it's up to him. He didn't commit any crime by doing so, but posterity will judge us all.
Richard.
Yeah, sincerely on this matter, it comes back to the fact that Ghana, we have lost substance and value in our political space.
How?
I'm coming. To allude to what my senior brother just said, that you had a president then in opposition who was campaigning, vigorously campaigning, and tell you point blank in the face with the party chairman, telling you blank in their face that, look, we are not happy with the Chief Justice. We are not happy with the judiciary. Because
is there anything wrong with that?
I am coming.
Okay.
Because if you create that impression that you are not happy, therefore, if given the chance, you are going to reset or overhaul the judiciary, then already it's a premeditated action. That when I get the opportunity, I am going to overhaul the judiciary. And if you want to overhaul the judiciary, obviously it starts from the top, because you cannot overhaul it from the base or from the bottom. So, irrespective of any positive side of the Chief Justice, whoever he or she could be, we are going after that individual the moment power is vested in us. That is why I'm telling you that our politics of today is no longer about conviction, but it's about convenience. So, if it is not convenient in our interest, then we must change it.
Did he say he was going to overhaul the judiciary? He only said that the image of the judiciary needs reforms.
So,
how do you interpret that?
It's semantics.
Mean, no, but how do you interpret that? It's English. It's plain English.
Yes.
How do you interpret that to mean that I will reform or overhaul?
But it's not even his responsibility to reform the judiciary.
Because you see, that's what I'm saying to you, that once you make these pronouncements, then that means that, like you said, we have three arms of government. But the challenge I face is the Constitution of the Republic.
How?
The Constitution says that the President appoints the Chief Justice of the Republic. Isn't that the case?
True.
In consultation with the Judicial Council or something. But we should know also that we are practicing an executive-led government system, where whatever the executive proposed, in many instances, it suffices. How many people have you seen that as an executive president has appointed or nominated to any position, some that even goes to parliament for vetting, has been declined before? What is the percentage of that?
Once.
Very limited. So that should tell you that executive always have an overriding way when it comes to matters of this nature. So for me, I'm not so much interested in the petition that was raised against her. Due process was followed as far as the Constitution stipulated. And nobody can lay blame to Mohammed that he did something untoward, because he can justify and say that we followed the Constitution true and true. Then again, there's another aspect of the conversation which says that the moment the in-camera hearing lapses or elapses, the findings of the committee should be made public. That one too, the Constitution must explicitly explain that to us. Because the findings of the committee, is it a classified document or it can be declassified? If it is a document that cannot be declassified over a certain period of time, the Constitution should clearly state it. So that this ambiguity of should we make the findings public or should we not make the findings public, it is neither here or there. So my position is that without prejudice, it is in the right of the removed or the dismissed Chief Justice to test the law. If she feels that I want to test the law by seeking for some reliefs or seeking for annulment of my remover, and even go further that my replacement, my successor should not be vetted, that should also be nullified, it is a right, it's a prerogative. But like we said, the law is such a way that when it is being driven by passion and political inclination, we turn the law aside and deal with the law with the political lens. And that is exactly what the lady has gone through. She is being dealt with the political lens in terms of the fact that there were certain things that she did. Look, and even as a matter of fact, even if we admit that she did certain things that were wrong, for which reason we think that it was justifiable enough for her to be removed. When you have a Chief Justice to rise to the position of a Chief Justice, you cannot take away from the person's his or her entitlement. So if it is the law that stipulates that once you have been dismissed, no matter what you are entitled to, you are not going to be given a dime, then let's look at the law. So then again, we are of the view that let us do politics of conviction either than convenience. So we wish the former Chief Justice well, even though it's cast in stone. There's no way her removal can be truncated or can be reversed. There's nothing about that. It's absolutely nil and sealed. She's gone, and she's gone in eternity. She's not going to come back. Because you see, you cannot fight the executive. The moment she filed these processes at the High Court, I can bet my last penny from the day the government of the day heard that, they have evoked they have activated their cameras.
How?
They are activated because
that's a separate arm of government.
That is why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that it is the executive who triggered her removal based on the fact that they have received a petition and a prima facie case has been established.
That is what the Constitution
Then it was sent to the Council of State. My only concern is that the former Chief Justice, Madame Sophia Akufo, who is a member of the Council of State, I would have wished respectfully that from the moment the petition came, if she finds it difficult, because they would have been preview to whatever petition was.
She abstained.
She abstained. But then my position is that in as much as you abstain yourself, you should have started to give a reason for your abstinence immediately you did that in the public domain, so that it gives a different dimension to the conversation, because you would have been able to tell her that based on what I have seen in the petition, A, B, C, D, I am not comfortable enough, therefore I am abstaining myself. So that would have triggered a different conversation around the subject matter. But you abstain, but you never put out reasons, justifiable reasons why you abstain. But it is only after the woman went to the committee, findings were made, she's been recommended to be removed, and then now you start to raise your agitations in the public domain. I would have wished
maybe
that
she thought she was going to receive some fair hearing or something. So,
but are you by this suggesting she didn't get fair?
No, she did not. I mean, you see, Lily.
What are you basing this on? I mean, we were not like.
You were not. You and I were.
You and I were not.
Oh, we were there. We were there.
As somebody once said, I don't want to mention.
If you should listen to the lawyer for the removed Chief Justice, you will realize that due process wasn't followed. In fact, instead of 3 petitioners, they only used 1.
Yes,
they didn't allow her to even file her addresses. There were a whole lot of issues. I don't want to go into.
So just to conclude on that, so that my senior brother can come in, is that let us be mindful of the precedents that we are setting. Because you see, political power, as we all know, we are not oblivious of the fact that it's transient. Today it is you, tomorrow is somebody else. But the scale at which we will measure any Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, that scale must be above the threshold. It must be extremely, extremely high. Because you see, you are positioned as the neutral arbiter. So when any issue arises from election petitions, individual grievances, and anything that happens, if today the 3 of us seated here, we have any dispute and we want to find or seek remedy, we are obviously not going to the Speaker of Parliament or running to Parliament. We are running to the judiciary. So the judiciary must have a different level of measurement. The bar must be extremely, extremely high. So this should also serve as warning to whoever is coming. Now we know that the dust has been settled. That whoever is coming...
You mean her successor?
Yes, successor. Assuming without admitting that this petition doesn't fly. And I know obviously it will not fly because government of the day, it is difficult for you to fight them. Whatever they decide, they are going to follow it through and through.
That particular petition, I even had members of the NPP say that's frivolous.
It is going to...
I don't know. There's a Supreme Court judgment that states that when a state is executing its mandate and you take it to court for it to be unstopped, like, okay, they should stop, Parliament should stop, vetting that one.
It's enough. And then the last point of it, now you know Chikata, even Chachu Chikata, his case that incarcerated him. You realize very well that even in that case, Chachu said he wasn't privy to the prima facie case that was established against him.
Okay.
But the court proceeded and then found him guilty. When the issue went for further review or whatever it was, the judge said that yes, it was biased, unprofessional. He used all the terms to bastardize it, that it wasn't proper for you to pass judgment on someone who is not privy to the prima facie case on which you establish the verdict and then pass sentence on him. But nevertheless, the sentence will still what? Hold. So we still believe that if that is the analogy, then the sentence on the current Chief Justice is still going to hold. Okay. But like my senior is saying, it is the precedent that we must what? Avoid. And the cue or the clue or the solution to all this thing is that we are proposing from the movement, the United Party, that we should have a second chamber.
I know, it will take a while before you get acclimatized to United Party.
You should have a second chamber.
Yes,
you should have a second chamber.
I have a few minutes.
So the second chamber will be the one so that if somebody is nominated to become the Chief Justice of the Republic or the IGP or certain sensitive positions, it shouldn't be the prerogative of the president to sit at the Jubilee House and decide. And then when it comes to Parliament, is rubber stamp. They should also have a second chamber so that if Parliament passes, it should still come back to second chamber for further interrogation to see and whether it's in the absolute interest of the country or not.
Okay, let's talk about the NPP, shall we? I know that the campaigns have now started in earnest. A number of the candidates are crisscrossing the length and breadth of the country. Kofi, where's your candidate as we speak?
I think Upper East or Upper West.
Okay. How's the campaign shaping up? I know that a lot of your members from all the camps are trading words, accusations, counter-accusations. But can the party say that, why not focus on your campaign? Because you're not campaigning to the entire public. You're campaigning to your delegates. Why the campaign of trade of words?
I think the trade of words is not between the candidates.
They are followers of you.
And I am extremely worried, as you are, even as a neutral person. I don't understand why we should set ourselves up for needless attacks and all that. I made a comment to that effect, and I was called all sort of names. I asked, why should we, the people supporting the candidates, should be attacking each other? But that is another topic for another day. But having said that, our campaign is going well. It is really resonating well with the grassroots and the rank and file of the party. The party folks are listening, the delegates are listening, and we believe that eventually when we go to the polls, January 31st, 2026, they will make a decision that really will be in the interest not only to the party but to Ghanaians. But I would want to just say this to the delegates. This particular election to elect who becomes our presidential candidate is extremely important, extremely sensitive and critical.
Okay.
It is for this reason that is why we went to conference early to amend our constitution and also change how we used to do things by voting for the presidential candidate before any other executive of the party. We are doing this because 2024, the elections results and the defeat has become a cloud over the party that really breeds some demoralization, some sort of despair. So it is the responsibility of the delegates to elect a candidate that will be able to remove that cloud, number one. A candidate that I believe will help to revive and rejuvenate the new patriotic party. I believe strongly.
And the candidates that will not concede early? That is what your candidate said. A candidate.
I will come to that.
Okay.
Look, I believe strongly that for the MPP to be able to recapture the hearts, the minds and soul of Ghanaians, the delegates of our party must seriously consider voting for Honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan.
So that he will not concede early.
Because when they do vote for him, it is his policies, his demonstrable record, what he stands for.
What does he stand for?
He stands for a system, a society, a country that should be governed with principles, with discipline, with boldness, with honesty and credibility. That when you say you do A, you do A.
Okay.
And that you must ensure that the ordinary person benefit from the resources of the land. So again, I would want to reiterate that for us to be able to rejuvenate and for Ghanaians to go back to how much they did love us, for Ghanaians to give us an opportunity, which indeed they believe it's the new patriotic party that can do so, because our policies and programs, especially in the Fourth Republic, have found favor with them.
Okay.
When you look at infrastructure, the political parties that have had the opportunity to lead this country, MPP's policies really and truly are the ones that impact on the lives of majority of Ghanaians. Okay. Now, you keep asking me about the candidate that said he will not concede. I think that is false. He didn't say that. What he said was that he would not concede defeat or otherwise until and unless the Electoral Commission...
Final declaration by the Electoral Commission.
...had been done. Because, look, what happened in 2024, few hours after polls have been closed by our candidate, though I respect his decision because as a party, we gave him the opportunity to lead the party. He was the commander-in-chief of the New Patriotic Party for the 2024 elections. So whatever his decisions were, or whatever he wanted to do, he had the right to do so. But the truth of the matter is that that decision he took by conceding that early had an impact, an implication on other constituencies in the elections. That is a fact that has been established. Because the moment he conceded, it sent a signal that, okay, we've lost. So that morale, that enthusiasm, that fight, that spirit that you need to fight to the end, it doesn't matter. Look, in 2020, President Mohammed did not even concede defeat. He even went to court without even evidence. The country didn't burn. As far as tensions in elections are concerned, in every jurisdiction, there will be tensions during and after elections. Okay? Because the whole exercise is a very tense one. Because people will go, you don't know, you campaign for years. You tell people what you can do. They'll go to the polls. I'm concluding. They'll go to the polls. Eventually, you are not there to see who they will vote for. So you are tensed already. So as for the tension, it is there. In any event, the institutions that are responsible to ensure peace during, after, and even before the elections, it is not the candidates. We have agencies of states that are responsible for maintaining peace and order in the country. The Electoral Commission had given us 72 hours, upon which they will come and declare. So the question is, what was the haste in doing that? He had the right to do so, but at the end of the day, there was an effect. So our candidate did not say, or is not saying that he would never concede defeat. That is not true. He lost the elections in the primaries. He conceded. He came to I think, Accra Sports Stadium, where we were declaring the candidates. He was there to support the candidate, and indeed he campaigned for the candidate. So he will concede defeat if he should lose, and of course he's not going to lose anyways.
Well, I have just, this one is MPP matter, so I have just a minute. So
yes, it is their matter, but at least it's a national interest issue.
Of course.
And I can only say that, yes, the two major political parties over the years have really failed us. They have failed us because I want to ask a question, quite rhetorical. Which subsector of the Ghanaian economy, ever since we started the Fourth Republic, we can boldly beat our chest as a people who have been put together by God, and to say that we are self-sufficient in this aspect of the economy, or we are self-dependent. All the subsectors of the Ghanaian economy, we don't play any major role there. The telecommunication sector in Ghana, zero. Agric, zero. Health, zero. Education, zero. Even sports that we were used to be known as a major sports country, football, even that one we have declined. So we have been declining virtually in every aspect of our facet of life. Now the NPP started to shoot themselves in the foot from the very day when they set aside their constitution and brought in someone who was not a member of the party to become a running mate. They started to create that rancor and acrimony within themselves ever since from that time. So in politics too, there are fashions all over in politics. So once some group feel aggrieved, they feel that, yeah, we have been there before. Before people came, like we said, Alan and Co., they were with Empretech, they were with the young executives. They worked tirelessly. They did everything they could do from the very foundation stage of the party. But if it gets to a stage where maybe people who, in as much as we believe in the Bible, some start in the morning, some start in the afternoon, some start in the evening, but they all get equal paid, it is understandable. But in politics, some cannot start in the morning, some start in the afternoon, some start in the evening, and then at the end of the day, they say they should all receive equal pay. Or the system is saying that the one who even came later in the night should be paid much more better than all the rest. Now you realize that the NPP, their greater challenge is that it looks like somebody has been infused into the party and has been planted into the party to the extent that no other voice matter. So, for instance, the likes of me, I believe that we need someone who has a demonstrable, practical, tangible reasons, such like, let's say, Kennedy Japan. I'm not campaigning for him, okay? But I sincerely believe that this country has moved from a trial and error stage to go into practicality. So we shouldn't be championing somebody based on convenience rather than conviction. Many people are clamoring for Dr. Baumia, jumping everywhere. Anything you say, they jump at you. They are doing pure politics of convenience, not conviction. Because if you are doing conviction, you must go for substance and value and what can work in the ultimate interest of the country.
Absolutely.
So, as the United Party, we are saying to the people of God and country that we are proposing that at the end of the day, choose someone who can be the one to build the bridges.
Really, are you connected?
Thank you.
You appear to be connected.
Well, I'm not. He is saying that I don't belong. I'm a journalist.
Why are you fumbling?
I am a journalist.
It doesn't matter. Why are you?
I am saying that he says that. Oh, I love Kennedy. I love Dr. Baumia. I love Brian Chapo. Oh, I love Dr. Soyedichu, by the way. And I think that Kwabena Japan is a fine
politician. The same thing we cried about, Alan cried about. They are crying about
My
it.
name is Lily Mohammed. That's Richard Suma. He's the Deputy General Secretary for the United Party. Kofi Amiyao is former Head of Information for Ghana's mission in the United Nations. I am back shortly. When I come back, I will do some bit of nurses and their issues. We'll talk about nurses recruitment and all the issues to do with them. But the Old GHOne Association is inviting you to the OAA President's Ball 2025 on the commemoration of the 1995 year group's 30th anniversary. The date is this Saturday, the 25th of October 2025 at the Addis Pavilion at the Labadi Beach Hotel. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. This year's ball is more than just an evening's out. It is also a fundraising event to support the 1995 year group, provide a brand new basketball court for Achimota School. All motto owners and friends of Achimota School, Motowners, I beg your pardon, all Motowners and friends of Achimota School are cordially invited to this event. The event I mentioned to you is this Saturday, 25th of October, 2025 at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Tickets are available. If you're single, you pay a cool 1,200 cedis. For a couple, you pay 2,400 cedis. If you want a table, you pay 11,500 cedis. You can, if you want to purchase these tickets and tables, you can pay via the Momo number 0245 262510. Again, 0245 262510, and then you see the name registered on that Momo number is the 95 Old GHOne Association, or you can simply dial the USDD is *844*800#, or you can visit events.ranker.com/ticketing/OAA95. Again, is events.ranker.com/ticketing/OAA95. Now, the OAA President's Ball 2025 is defined by elegance, legacy, and the true spirit of Achimota. So you should not miss it. If you're a Motowner, please do not miss it. It's not just exclusively for 95 year group. It's for all Motowners. I am back shortly after this. Stay with me. On Ghana's petroleum revenue generation. And now, mind you, a number of critical areas are being funded with petroleum revenue. But unfortunately, over the years, we've seen a consistent decline in petroleum revenue. And then the Public Interest and Accountability Committee has released its semi-annual report, which highlights these shortfalls, what it's going to affect, and what it will mean to you and I as Ghanaians. My guest this morning, I've been joined in studio by Isaac Dramina Esquire. He's a coordinator for the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC. And then I've also been joined via Zoom by Richard Elima. He's chair technical subcommittee for PIAC. Good morning, Isaac. It's good to see you, as always.
Yes, good morning. Good to see you, too. You're looking good, as always.
Thank you, thank you. You look great yourself.
Thank you.
I'll come to Isaac later. Richard, I beg your pardon, later. But let me start with you, Isaac. In your report, what are the various highlights of petroleum revenue generation?
Right, thank you, and good morning to cherished viewers. For the benefit of citizens who may be hearing this conversation for the first time, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee is established under Section 51 of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. It has a 3-point mandate to monitor and evaluate compliance with the Act. It is to create platform for citizens' debate on the management and use of their revenues. It is to conduct independent assessment of the management and use. The committee is required by Section 56 of the Act to publish 2 reports every year, one semi-annual report covering January to June. That is to be published by the 15th of September, and then a full year report to be published in the ensuing year, 15th of March. The 2025 semi-annual report was published less than 2 weeks ago, covering January to June 2025 on the production, the lifting, the revenues, the allocation, the utilization of the petroleum revenues for the first half of 2025. So essentially, the report is on the production, it's on the lifting, it's on the allocation, the utilization of the revenues, and also the amendment of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act and some of the results, the effects of the amendments of the provision. So essentially, this is what the report is about. The report highlights the decline in crude oil production in the first half of the year, the significant drop in revenue, and then the allocation of the revenue. So without going into the details yet, that is a nutshell of the reports that the committee published a couple of weeks ago.
Where are we as a country? What's the state of our petroleum management, revenue management, as we speak?
All right. So as the report publishes, there are 3 producing fields. The Jubilee field, the Tweneboa Enyira and Tome field, and then the Sankofa Jinyame field. The Jubilee field is a pure gas field. A pure oil producing field. The Tweneboa Enyira and Tome field is a pure crude oil producing field. And then we have the Sankofa Jinyame field, which is a pure gas field. The pure crude oil fields also produce gas, and we call them associated gas. The pure gas producing fields also produce crude oil. We call that crude oil associated crude oil. So these are the producing fields. For the first half of the year, the 3 producing fields produced 18.4 million barrels of crude oil.
How much did we produce in the first half of 2024?
First half of 2024, this is about 25.92% drop from the production in the same period 2024.
Wow.
Yes, 25.92% drop when you compare.
What is accounting for this drop? Why are we declining?
Well, there are various factors we should look at. The Jubilee field has been producing since 2010 December. So naturally, you would experience a decline. We understand that crude oil is a finite resource, so as you produce, it will run out one day. And so if you start producing 14 years ago, then you should expect that production will not be the same 14, 15 years on. Even with the current performance of Jubilee contributed 60% of the production we had in the first half of the year. There have been two major investments: the Jubilee Southeast project, which came on stream in 2024, and then we had the Greater Jubilee Development Plan, which came on stream earlier, 2013-14, thereabout. So naturally, Jubilee has seen its best days, and the decline is expected. It's a natural decline that is expected. For the 10 field, we are experiencing very technical challenges. This relates more to the nature of the geography, the nature of the rock that we are producing from. So the technical challenges have made 10 very difficult to produce the numbers that we were expecting. 10 field came on stream in 2016, and so 9 years on, it should not have been doing the numbers that 10 is doing. The numbers should have been way better, way better. And unfortunately, the technical challenges that the partners are facing are making it difficult for us to get the numbers we need. It will interest viewers to note that of the production in the first half of the year, 10 contributed the least, 16%. To the total production. The Sankofa Ginyame field, which is even a gas field primarily, did better in crude oil production than the 10 field, which is a primarily oil producing field. So then it tells you the challenges we are facing on the 10 field. Then, as I said, the Sankofa Ginyame field is a primarily gas field, but even that, it contributed 24% to the total production we had in the first half of 2024. So what usually happens is that when countries start producing from wells, from fields, then new investments need to be made. New discoveries need to be made to add on to the fields and the wells that are producing. Unfortunately for Ghana, since 2018, we have not had a petroleum agreement signed. And a petroleum agreement is what mandates an international oil company to go to our basins and start exploratory work, which in the layman's language we would say they start looking for the prospects of crude oil.
But why is investment drying up? I mean, you mentioned that we have not had any major investment since 2008. Why is investment drying up? Is it that we need to change something to attract new investors? Especially after we were shut out of the capital market when our investment climate was not conducive.
Well, so the factors contributing to the drastic decline, or let me say the absence of investment, petroleum agreements not being signed, various factors. First, we need to improve our fiscal terms, what we call the fiscal term, what the investor looks at to want to come and explore, to want to come and spend the next dollar on our shores. So we need to improve our fiscal terms. We had what we call the licensing round. That is more like offering what we have on competitive terms to the world in 2017-18. thereabout, and we had nothing coming out of it, primarily because some of the investors raised the issues that our blocks were too small for the investor. So if you are unable to make a find, you don't have such a wide field where you can continue exploring. So we will need to look at the size of our blocks in order to attract more to attract investments. Then also the quality of the data we present to the investor. When we talk about that, we mean the quality of the seismic data. We are not talking about 2D seismic data here. technology has advanced to the point where other countries are offering 3D seismic data, even 4D seismic data. So then the better the data, the easier it is for the investor to make a decision, because then it makes the investment decision easier to make. You know that your prospects are higher in this area compared to the other area. So the quality of the seismic data we present to the investor is one of the issues that have been raised, which we will need to address in order to attract investments. Let me also mention that we are facing very stiff competition, keen competition from a number of emerging fields. Even our neighbor, La Côte d'Ivoire. La Côte d'Ivoire is offering very attractive terms, which have attracted investments to La Côte d'Ivoire. ENI is busily working in La Côte d'Ivoire. We have other countries that are attracting investments, such as Namibia. We have other countries that are doing very well. So now Ghana has to compete with the global world for investments in the midst of what we call the energy transition. I'm sure your viewers may have heard about the conversations about energy transition and the fact that there is movement, there is a shift towards green energy, renewable energy. So the investor is now looking more at putting the next dollar into the renewable energy rather than into hydrocarbons. Let's also mention that even though investments have not completely been shifted, now the competition is keener. So then you need to do more to attract investments. Then also the posture of government. You know, government is to facilitate investments. When the investor wants to come, the investor is looking at how current investors are being treated. The investor is looking at the investment climate in general in a country, the stable political environment and all that. And these are things that government will have to take critical look at, take very strategic steps in order to attract the necessary investments to our fields so that we can have more work being done on our fields and hopefully finds being made, discoveries being made, and then new fields, new wells being added to the ones that are producing currently.
Let me go to Richard. Richard, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, it's good to have you. Now, the report says that we have declined significantly. Will this affect jobs, energy security? What does this mean for jobs and energy security especially?
Well, petroleum revenues form a significant portion of government's entire revenue basket. So once our revenues are falling, then it also makes it difficult for government to achieve its development target, especially where certain projects are earmarked to be implemented with petroleum funds. So definitely once government's investment in projects declines, it will affect jobs, it will affect the ability of government to address some key social interventions. For the benefit of our listeners, I must say that the Agenda 111 initiative by the past regime received some significant amount of petroleum revenue from the ABFE through the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. Now, the fund has been taken off the ABFE, and definitely it has affected the ability of the contractors to continue with the project and deliver the project on schedule as agreed upon. Again, the reduction in petroleum revenues, I mean, as you can see, it's we've had a fall of about 56% in petroleum revenue this year as compared to the same period last year. And that is really, really significant. Last year, first half of last year, we made $840 million. The first half of this year, we are making only $370 million. And that is very, very significant. And it will affect all other economic indices as well.
Now, I know that government has withdrawn petroleum revenue funding towards Agenda 111. What are the implications? What happens to these hospitals and even healthcare delivery in general?
Yes, the Agenda 111 initiative was a flagship of the past regime, and definitely having 111 hospitals or health centers across the country was meant to improve the health profile of Ghanaians. Now, the key funding source, which is petroleum revenue, has been withdrawn. We are yet to hear from the current regime how it is going to raise revenue and where it is going to raise the revenue from to continue with the project. Though assurances have come from the Ministry of Health that they are going to continue the project. But be that as it may, once you have withdrawn petroleum revenues from the GII providing the support to the Agenda 111, then there's a real problem of the project being stalled. Because as you are aware, for the past 6 months or so, no petroleum funds have gone into the completion of these Agenda 111 hospitals across the country. And it is a source of worry. It will be good if the government can come out and let Ghanaians know how it is going to raise funds to continue with the project. We do not want to see the project left to rot like we've been seeing over the years. This is a laudable project. The current regime has also agreed that indeed they have to continue, but we want to see these projects completed so that Ghanaians can get the benefit of the health care that the Agenda 111 promises to provide.
Now, the petroleum revenue is now going to the big push. The big push is about infrastructure. Shouldn't the government merge this Agenda 111 with the big push, since it's all about infrastructure and not just the roads?
Yes, as I said, there's very little that we know about the modalities of the big push. We don't know yet. Government has come out to say, yes, we are pushing all petroleum revenues with the exception of the 5% that goes to the District Assembly's Common Fund. Almost everything is going into the big push now. Now, what constitutes the big push? So far, we have seen road projects, major road projects. We have seen construction of bridges and so on. What we are not aware of is in which sectors these infrastructure projects will be delivered. For instance, Agenda 111 is part of a major infrastructural uplift in the health sector. Will that be covered under the big push as well? That is yet to be known. As I said, we still don't know a lot about this Agenda 111 and how it is going to be rolled out. So I will give the government the benefit of the doubt, but also express the hope that we will not allow this project to just rot. It is a major intervention that we need to continue.
Okay, Richard. Let me come back to you, Isaac. Agenda 111, between 2021 and 2024, we pumped 2.6 billion of petroleum revenue into Agenda 111. For PIAC, were you able to track how these funds were used? And if government thinks that, well, if we have channeled 2.6 billion, is it not time to review channeling more funds into this particular project?
All right, thank you. So, yes, it's correct to say PIAC monitored the utilization of the 2.6 billion Ghana cedis into the project. We visited a number of them. I was part of the team that visited the one in Pram Pram. Quite a very beautiful edifice that had been erected. We had a team visit one in Boko. Yes, and it was I think a district close to Boko, Tamne. Very, very beautiful one. We had another team visit one in the Volta region. So we have no doubt. And I mean, when we came back to the office and we met to share what we found, there was unanimity about the project and how good it was. PIAC does not do partisan politics. For as long as petroleum revenue will be used to benefit the citizen, we are okay with it. And we all agreed that regardless of one's political leaning, there was no doubt that the Agenda 101 was a good initiative. And for us, it was a good use of petroleum revenue to see it being used for a project that will last, that will benefit citizens, when will stand the benefit, will stand the test of time. Okay. We were looking forward to the projects being completed and being branded as petroleum revenue funded project, so that citizens can get to see that since we discovered petroleum revenue, we have used it to do A, B, C, and D. We met the then Office of the President, the office that was in charge a number of times, the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund a number of times, and we received briefing on the implementation of the project. It will be in the right direction if new government says they want to review the project before continuing. That will be very fine. But then the review should not take so long that by the time we come back to the project, the structural integrity of the structures will be compromised. We are looking forward to, and the government has selected infrastructure development as the area where petroleum revenue will be used. PIAC commends the government for that, except that we are looking forward to the selection of fewer projects that will be funded from start to finish. And will be branded as petroleum revenue funded project, because in our public outreaches, citizens have been asking, since we discovered oil and since we started getting petroleum revenue, what have we used the revenue to do? We don't see any project as a testimony, as evidence of the petroleum revenue that we have been getting. And PIAC thought that GHOne would have been a classic example of the good use of the revenue, apart from free SHS, the Kotoka Terminal 3 that received $30 million invested in that project. And let me even mention this. The Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund was giving petroleum revenue in 2015-16, and they invested $30 million of petroleum revenue into the Kotoka Terminal 3 project. When that investment was made, for the period 2017 to 2019, Ghana made a return of $5.5 million on the investment we made in the Kotoka Terminal 3 project. So then it tells you that we can invest the revenue in critical infrastructure projects that will give us very good returns. We are not now looking just at the infrastructure. We are looking at the monetary returns that we are getting. And we believe that if 17 to 19 alone gave us $5.5 million, then you can imagine from 2017 to date, middle of 2025. So then the investment will have paid for itself, and then we'll be getting some things extra. So critical infrastructure projects like this are what PIAC is saying petroleum revenue should be invested in. And if the government has selected infrastructure development as the areas to invest the petroleum revenue, then let's see the projects being funded from A to Z and being branded as such, and then the returns coming to the people of Ghana.
For under the new amendment, a number of things have been affected. Agenda one we mentioned, even PIAC funding. How is that helping your challenges, especially now that under the new amendment you're not going to be funded?
Well, thank you. So, under the before the amendment, the arrangement was that what goes into the budget to be spent, called the annual budget funding amount, the Act required that not less than 70% of it should be put into public investment expenditure or infrastructure. Yes, and then the not more than 30% was what PIAC was being given part of for its programs and activities, including the payment of staff salaries and running the office, for PIAC's work of engaging citizens and things like that. So in April 2025, the Act was amended. The President assented to it and it became law. So that discontinued the funding of PIAC from the petroleum revenue annual budget funding amount. And it means that petroleum revenue having been taken away, it puts PIAC on the consolidated fund. And citizens know that consolidated fund is what all other or most other government institutions depend on. So let me even say this. for the year 2024, PIAC was allocated 11.2 million Ghana cedis for its programs for the whole year. For the year 2025, PIAC was allocated 4.6 million. So compare 4.6 million to 11.2 million. That is even less than half. So it has badly affected PIAC to the point that it...
How then are you managing? How are you being able to pay salaries, continue your monitoring, evaluation, and then bringing our reports?
In fact, PIAC is breaking the law as a result of this amendment.
How?
The Act requires PIAC to conduct what the Act calls public meetings at least twice a year. At least twice. Because of funding issues, PIAC has been able to do just one this year. And even that was funded by an NGO, Good Governance Africa, funded PIAC to conduct that public engagement in Kumasi. You know, we have this across regions. Every year we do at least two. And project, we are required to inspect the project. I think in the beginning you asked me whether PIAC had inspected the Agenda 111 projects or not. For this year, PIAC has only been able to conduct one project inspection. That was in the second quarter of 2025. And even that was funded with funds from GIZ. GIZ is the German technical arm that funds good governance. So literally, PIAC is struggling. And it gets to points where even staff salaries become an issue. I mean, the committee is unable to not to even talk of the allowances of committee members. So the amendment has wrought negative impact for the work of PIAC. And the committee got the opportunity to meet the president in July. And the president reiterated his commitment to transparency and accountability in the management of petroleum revenues. And he promised to ensure that the needed funding for PIAC is made available for its work so that it will be able to support the work of Parliament and the presidency to manage the revenues very well. The committee is yet to see the realization of this promise, actually. Yes.
Okay. Richard, let me come back to you. Hello, Richard, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. What's your relationship with the current finance minister, PIAC?
Well, let me say that we've had quite cordial relationship with all past finance ministers. This current minister came to power. In fact, he took office, I think, about 6 months or so ago. And we've made attempts to meet, but unfortunately, due to his heavy workload, we've not been able to meet him. So in terms of relationship, we've not really related that much. We've not met. We are yet to have a meeting with him. But we've had signals that very soon that meeting will take off. So I believe that we will have a cordial relationship with him like we've had with other past finance ministers.
I know you haven't met, but have your grievances and challenges gone to me? I know you met the president, he has assured, but obviously the finance minister will have to make the releases.
Yes. We've made some depositions. We've sent some documents ahead. We've engaged with some officials of the finance ministry. They are fully aware of what is going on. That is why I believe that once we are able to meet with him, we can then discuss the key issues, particularly with respect to our financing situation, and also get the right responses from him. We met the president all right. He gave us assurances that he would talk to the finance minister and possibly address our concerns in the mid-year budget. That was to be presented in August. But unfortunately, the mid-year budget was read and there was nothing for PIAC. So we are still hoping that if the opportunity comes for us to meet, we got a message that he's out of the country and then when he returns, he will make arrangements to meet us. we are still very hopeful that once we meet, we can thrash out this issue.
Okay. Thank you very much, Richard. But Isaac, before we go, is the solution primarily on taking a critical look at the amendment, bringing back what was there before, or is just to increase your allocation?
Well, so we would say that for PIAC, any funds are funds. We are not asking specifically that we should be giving funding from the ABFA necessarily. Let's make the point that before PIAC was brought onto the petroleum revenue for funding, it was on the consolidated fund. And its challenges were just like what I am enumerating, were just like what I'm telling you. It is the same president, President John Mahama, in his first term, that the act was amended and PIAC was brought onto the petroleum revenue, and we started receiving petroleum revenue in 2016. And since then, PIAC funding has been very consistent. From 2016 all the way to 2024, the funding for the committee was very consistent, and it helped the committee to do its work very well. The amendment, as has been done, has taken the committee back to the pre-amendment era, before the first amendment, the 2015 amendment. If funding will be consistent and adequate and come on time, it is fine that it is not coming from petroleum revenue. Except that when the fund is specific, like petroleum revenue, it is more reliable than when it should come from the consolidated fund, which so many other government institutions depend upon. Because if you are monitoring the utilization of petroleum revenue, then the expectation is that you will be funded from petroleum revenue. And it was right, it was in the right direction that PIAC was put on the petroleum revenue from 2016 all the way to 2024. So PIAC is not saying that by hook or by crook it should be on petroleum revenue. What PIAC is saying is that if it has been taken off petroleum revenue funding, wherever its funding is to come from, the funding should be regular, it should be prompt, and then also it should be adequate to enable the committee to do the work that the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, as amended, has given it for the benefit of citizens.
Okay, all right. Isaac, thank you very much for coming. That's Isaac Dramina Esquire. He is the coordinator for the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. I also had via Zoom Richard Alima. He is the chair for the Technical Subcommittee for the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. Let me tell you how you can take care of your baby. Now, changing your baby's diaper regularly, especially after they poop, or every 2 to 3 hours for newborns, helps prevent rashes and infections. Always wipe front to back. Clean gently with water or mild baby wipes and allow the area to air dry before putting on a fresh diaper. Wear your baby in Flora Kids baby diapers. They keep your little one dry and comfortable for longer. Flora Kids diapers are highly absorbent. They are also very gentle on your baby's delicate skin and can keep your baby dry for up to 12 hours. To purchase, just call 0243 033 033 to become a distributor. That's the way of protecting your babies. Now, St. Andrew's Group of Schools are telling you that they are part of the free SHS program this year. These are our new names on the self-placement form. St. Andrew SHS Asin Fusu on the platform. It's called St. Richard's SHS Asin Fusu. St. Andrew's SHS in Mankasim is now St. Luke SHS in Mankasim. St. Andrew SHS in Dunkwa Onofin is now Mount Hebron College, Dunkwa Onofin. For Shama, it is now Golden Gate SHS Shama. For New Edubiasi, it is now Lighthouse SHS New Edubiasi. For Sehui Asawenso, it is now called St. Benedict SHS in Sehui Asawenso. The public is hereby being notified to find the new names on the self-placement list and choose the schools accordingly. Mind you, boarding facilities are equally available and everything is free. You can call St. Andrew Group of Schools on 0244 696911, 0244 696911, or 0207 891004, 0207 891004. let's bring you a documentary on Goldfields, Ghana.
Water facilities constructed for them as part of the resettlement program. Recognizing this critical need, a Goldfields Ghana Foundation intervened.
Yebeda Goldfields Foundation ase ewo mboa omudi aboa yen ewo yensusem foundation e tu nsuo edin kan mayen boho nkoko 6 za nsuo ni na ye use ya for some time na edu mrebi no so no yakopon adom foundation e sanso ebeboa yen ewo mechanized boho nkoko 4.
The foundation provided 6 boreholes, followed by 4 mechanized water systems, a significant investment and a key step towards building a healthier, more prosperous community.
Additional project it me aye aside nsuo and naya go for 2 million. And it's a committee no as a community so sky nya efi nsuo no ho it me etu nsuo miensa e de aka go for 4 mo de 4 na mo de million.
Beyond providing infrastructure, the foundation empowered the community to take ownership of their own future. A water sanitation community, WATSAN, was formed in collaboration with the Takwa Inswaem Municipal Assembly to manage the water systems. Their forward-thinking approach has been a case study for success, creating a sustainable revenue stream.
I and my community, especially the assembly member and the committee members, realized that you cannot be going to Goldfields to ask for money. So we sold the water. Formerly, we were having pipe stand in the communities. So you go there, you buy, whilst we have an attendant over there, at the end of the month, the little that we get out of it, we pay that person. So in a way, we employ people. Then we realized that the more the water go out, that is where we can also get money. So we decided to extend the water to individual houses, those who are interested. So at the end of the month, after reading the meter, you give them bill. We created an office here. You come there, you pay after we've given you your bill.
This project has had a profound impact. It provides water to about 11,000 residents and supplies free water to the 3 basic schools, eliminating a significant barrier to education.
Because first na you try kwan kwa chika cancer nsuo. Like say amekwa me ben nsuo no. Nti ama me kwan ayetia e wo nsuo no ho.
We only had clean water here through Goldfields Ghana Limited.
Science no community about 11,000 population. Ye use ye ma ebi students are omo school. I say obia e wo nsuo ni bi a eboa ma education ekoso.
This project exemplifies how strategic infrastructure development combined with community empowerment can transform a community and create a sustainable, healthier future.
It is really a great privilege for the school to have access to free, reliable and then potable water, because this has contributed a lot in the school's activity. Previously, we had a challenge of the learners coming to school late because of not having access to water to do their daily domestic activities. But since the introduction of the water in the new Atuabo community, students are always getting access to water in running their daily activities and then coming to school early. We also had in the school a challenge whereby students have to carry buckets crossing streets to fetch water to help the school undergo hygiene and then sanitation activities. But with the introduction of the water in the school, we have overcome this challenge. And so water is available in the school for us to be able to carry out sanitation and then hygiene activities.
Sawan fansu namba, yakwa kwa fa bucket. Ne yako chinchina kopensu ebu onsu mpo ayenya baby krampo ayesanso benyansu ne be free they have a school.
The success of this partnership is undeniable. The Watsan community has been able to construct 3 more boreholes on their own, a testament to their dedication and success.
GHOne Foundation ede insoni share nsano ade ba kwa yaye ene se ye wo eku a ye friend Watsan committee a sai eku no na nso semni na ehye omonsa ha anti day in and day out no omo na omo hwe se nso no omo hwe na omo hwe ni yi se na be ya dachi omo banso no menye bi omo so omo enya ho faso.
There are certain airborne disease that comes out of water. People are no more complaining. Workers, when they close from work, they get enough water in their houses. Those going to farm, when they come from farm, they get enough water in their houses. So we cannot say that once water is life and they are getting water, then it has impacted massively in their lives.
Nedin kaino yebeda go for us degree. Ewo ni omo ye man ewo yensu semu omo man training ewo kwana ye befa so am manage yensu ye manage yensu ni du bebre no ye nyasika sa sika no yakopan do yensu de 2 miensa account man na 7 nti no vice de be ma other communities ni say go for and I say different company bi kwampo etu so mo o say omo etimi manage insu ni yi se na be ye omo kon rely owo company ni so na mo etimi manage omunsu because of say yen yetimi atchoke so many success factors crampon omo betimi ko rely on yenso na yenso training and say mboa go face for the boy yen yenso etimi e dey aboa ho
I manage the community na awona wa boa mansu wa bie nyansu wodiaba efise se wan fensu namba enka school yijumedi bebrere nkodo yeda wana sepa.
I will appreciate the GHOne Foundation. They have really been doing a lot, but I think that the introduction of water in the community has done a lot, since we all know that water is life. Without it, there is nothing that we can do. So we will say thank you very much to GHOne Ghana Foundation for making it possible for the community to have access to the water and even extending it to the school. And to the community, I will say that we should all learn to take advantage of this facility and then make sure that we maintain it so that we do not give much problem to the donors or the GHOne Foundation. If they should come again, then it should be something different that they are bringing. And so the culture of maintenance is very, very important for the community members.
New Atuabo is rewriting the script of corporate social responsibility. The community is not just receiving benefits from goldfields, but is turning its relationship with the company into a meaningful partnership. Through its own efforts, the community is able to provide adequate water for itself without depending on the state or on Goldfields Ghana.
Goldfields for Abua, because someone on the Sunni buy and yes, you are to me as Soma. Yadia, Puntujuma Bibi, Senema can say Sunni Boa, or Monshaso. Nurses cabin on bed, your Muntu Fentu to Sunni cannot project in any baby.
In Sunni, dear, Yamisianka, Abua community, Papa. Community near one. We have miners. Baby now, Mukujuma, bear 4 o'clock, sometimes 5. But because the water system has improved in the community, that time no crano, almost sorry, they get access to water, which means a boama omujuma semo amoye code nimbebre because a bear say wako battles now kako say so na insuye in ember.
The Makacha was some phone said Jumano Moyano, Omonko Swanye, was Omoye a Jumadin Panti, Omonko Somon from Shem no Monyanity, Yamisubishrom.
We say my thank you to Goldfields Ghana Limited. We are most grateful. Among the 13 communities that are benefiting from Goldfields, to get a tide road, it will be Goldfields. School, anything that we can boast of in the community is provided by Goldfields. That's why we normally say Goldfields. We can't rely on any government, either present or past, to provide us anything. So it is a rare, it is a fact, and I cannot deny it. So that credit must be given to them. We can't lie.
Goldfields Ghana Foundation, creating vast opportunities, building futures, one innovation at a time.
This is GH Today here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. It's now time for Health Alert, and today is World Osteoporosis Day. But from last week up till today, we've been marking the Global Joint and Bone Week. Please, let's take care of our health, especially our joints. A lot of us have been complaining of backache. I know I am a culprit. Today, the doctors will answer all the questions on our minds. I've been joined in studio by Dr. Mame Boatme Misatha. She is rheumatologist specialist at the Nuffield Clinic, and Dr. James Agriolans is orthopedic and trauma surgeon also at the Nuffield Clinic. Good morning, lady and gentlemen. It's good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you for having us, and good morning to you.
Global Bone and Joint Week, which started last week. What is it about? What are you marking in general?
Okay. So the whole idea of Global Bone and Joint Week is to raise awareness and highlight key conditions that affect our musculoskeletal health. So things that affect our bones, affect our back, our spine, our joints. The reason for doing it is because when we look at worldwide population, probably up to about a quarter of our world's population is affected in some way by a musculoskeletal disorder, or what we call a rheumatic disorder. So be it arthritis, joint pain, bone pain. And if we don't take action, if we don't raise awareness, if we don't look out for it, identify and treat early, the burden becomes huge. If we just go over what we've celebrated this week, in the past week, from the 12th of October, we had World Arthritis Day. On the 16th, we had, on the 16th of October, we had Spine Day. On the 17th, we had World Trauma Day. Yesterday was a day to celebrate pediatric bone and joint problems. And today, as you mentioned, is World Osteoporosis Day. So these are just a few of the key complaints. But when we think of World Arthritis Day, it encompasses all the different types of arthritis, of which there are many.
Is arthritis what they usually call in local Sasabro?
So there's Sasabro, there's Ahututu. You hear people refer to it in different ways, but it encompasses, or it's a form of rheumatism. People would think of the term of rheumatism, but when we talk about arthritis, we're a bit more specific. So this is a disorder that is affecting the joints, causing inflammation of the joints, causing pain. It may cause swelling. It may cause deformities. But importantly for us,
it may cause deformities.
It may cause deformities if it's not picked up early, if it's not treated appropriately. The long-term effects can be deformities.
Early can it be detected, especially for arthritis, as we talk?
So with arthritis, it depends on the cause. So we look at arthritis, there are probably over 100 different causes. It can be detected as early as 6 weeks in some conditions. One of the most common worldwide arthritis is rheumatoid arthritis, and we like to say detect it early, treat early. For others, it's the onset of pain that is chronic and may not go away after a time. So that you may say has a longer time period where somebody may say, okay, now you've got arthritis. But there are also more acute joint problems. Some of them may be infection, and with that you want, within 24, 48 hours, you really want to have detected it and treated it. The likes that Dr. Agriolese may see are the trauma-related cases, and they also have a pattern of which they present from the immediate injury to the long-term effects post-injury.
Now, Dr. Agriolese, okay, Agriolese. I am tempted to add the Lindsay. She mentioned trauma-related pain. How does one know that this particular joint pain is trauma-related? Or I would have to go to a trauma specialist to detect?
Well, for trauma-related pain, then there will be a history of trauma. So maybe sports-related trauma, a domestic fall, assault, a road traffic accident, an industrial accident. So certainly there will be an incident that led to an overwhelming force, right, on your joint. So with that history, then when you're seen by a doctor, they can put the history and their examination together and then decide, okay, this pain you're having most likely could be due to trauma. But we need to add that often when there's pain, especially in children, that cannot be explained. You'd have parents assuming it's because of trauma. So not every story or not every presenting case of trauma is actually due to trauma. And in my practice, commonly I would see children who come in with infections, coming in with stories of trauma. Or he fell in school 2 days ago and had this painful knee. Would actually go in, assess him and realize it's due to infection. So yes, if it's due to trauma, then usually there would be a history or an incident of trauma, and then the examination will reveal that yes, there's trauma-related pain. But it could also be a red herring, so let's keep that in mind.
One of the most common phrases a lot of us adults uses, my back aches, my back hurts. What is accounting for this constant back pain that I'm not sure if I take out 5 people in the studio, maybe all 5 will say we have back pain. I'm sure that all 5 of us, or maybe just 4, will say that they have back pain, and 1 person will say, well, I'm okay.
Okay.
What is accounting for this? And for us as adults, is it anything that we should be afraid of? Should we be worried? You say that some of them could be red herrings. Are they signs of red herrings?
Right, so for back pain, it represents a very wide spectrum of conditions. Right, so it could be from conditions you were born with. So some people would have some deformities in their spine, and it could be so mild that you could go through your whole childhood and nobody notices.
Wow.
Right? Yes. So there are cases of scoliosis that you pick up in your teens or even in your 20s, right? When we say scoliosis, that's a deformity in the spine, right? Then for most people in their 30s and 40s, we have early degeneration of the spine. So the spine is made up of bones stacked on top of each other, separated by these cushions, right? And at a point, usually after the age of 40 and sometimes even earlier, you have the cushions wearing out, right? And that's a condition you commonly hear people call spondylosis, right? And then that will lead to some back pain. Some people would have the pain being referred into the lower limbs, right? And so by and large, for most people who come in with pain, especially after the age of 30, so 30s, 40s, and 50s, often it's due to spondylosis. But they are very important conditions we also need to ensure are not present. So when you come in with back pain, you need to make sure that, one, it's not even a malignancy like a cancer. For women, they may have either gynecological problems that may manifest as lower back pain. In children, sickle cell disease and all of that could manifest with back pain. So the spectrum is very wide. If you have your first episode of back pain, you may observe, take some pain medications. Usually for 80% of people, your first episode would resolve spontaneously. If there's a recurrence, then it's important to see a doctor. Let's get a diagnosis and then take it from there. And for most people, there are very simple solutions to it. What we call lifestyle modification, a bit of physiotherapy, some weight management, and a few other things. And they can enjoy long periods of pain-free, long pain-free periods. Right?
What are the common things that a regular adult can do when you're experiencing back pain? Maybe not a recurrent one. Maybe out of the blue you're experiencing back pain. A regular adult, what can you do?
Right. So for most of the patients, so let's limit it to spondylosis, right? So it's a wide spectrum. It starts very early and may progress over time. So you start with what we call the lifestyle modification. Most important is achieve and maintain an optimum body weight.
Okay.
So
What's an optimum body weight?
So I would, so for an optimum body weight, we'll look at your height, we'll look at your gender, and sometimes even your race, right? And the dietitians do it very well. They would calculate what your ideal body weight should be for your height, your gender, your race. And then you try to achieve and maintain that. Right. Then once you've achieved that and try to maintain it, we look at your occupation. Right. So in my practice, I see we have a lot more sedentary workers coming in with lower back pain compared to manual workers. So long periods of sitting, it's not good for the back. So we recommend that every hour, try to get up and walk for about 5 minutes. Right. I know that it may not be practical for every workup, but that's the goal. Yeah, talk, and so if there are any HR officers listening, allow your employees to take regular breaks. Right. So every hour, allow them to get up, walk, stretch the back, sit again. You can have your desk such that you sit for a while, stand for a while. Movement is life. Long periods of sitting worsens any underlying problem you have. Then one exercise we recommend is swimming. Swimming is good for the back. Morning exercises that strengthen the core.
Morning exercises like?
Planks.
Okay.
Planks. Very simple to do. And I think we should all, maybe from today going, every morning, let's all try and target maybe 1 minute of planks, right? Yeah, you have the princess type of planks, and then the standard one every morning, because if you strengthen your core, then that helps to support your back, right? So weight management, regular breaks at work, your swimming. Then let's be careful when we are bending, lifting, and twisting. Trunk, okay, carrying heavy children, heavy suitcases, buckets of water, and all of that. If the weight is uneven, then you end up stressing your back. So these are the simple things you can do to limit or prevent back pain.
For children and adults, how different are we when it comes to our bone health and then bone problems?
Okay. So generally when we think of children, we think that they're too young to have bone issues. They're too young to have arthritis. But if we think about it in the context of a young child growing up, from the period of birth, there can be bone issues. There can be abnormalities. There can be deformities. One of the common ones that sometimes we may hear about is clubfoot, where the foot is turned inwards. There may be, as has been mentioned, deformities of the spine, where you may have curvature of the spine, or you may have problems with the hip that affects the child as they grow, as they mobilize. And that can put strain, uneven strain, on certain aspects of their joints and affect their, what we call, ambulation. So we think about it from the genetic perspective or from the congenital perspective. And when these are identified, we shouldn't keep the child away at home and say, my child is abnormal or my child is deformed. But I think it's important that you go and seek help, because some of these can be corrected. Physiotherapy, corrective footwear, or even minor surgery, if it's caught early, may allow the child to then be able to develop a normal structure. But beyond the congenital, which is from birth or early years, then we have what we call the acquired causes. And as children grow, they are also prone to issues. One of the common things, again, in Ghana, when we think of children who have bone pain, we think of the condition sickle cell disease. It's very prevalent amongst us as Ghanaians. And if you have a young child, 2 years, 3-year-olds, they start to complain repeatedly about these kind of bone issues, the important thing is please take them for assessment. Beyond sickle cell, then we have arthritis. So arthritis is not just for your grandmother or your parent. Children can get it, even as young as 2 years old, where they have arthritis or inflammation in the joints. And there are a whole host of conditions that can cause that. So once a child is presenting with pain, sometimes no pain, but you notice swelling, you notice that they are walking in a funny way, they are limping, maybe they don't want to engage in the sports and the playing at PE time. It's not because they are lazy, it's because maybe they have issues with their joints. So again, if it strikes you that this is abnormal for my child, please go and seek advice. Then we have medical issues that may present with bone problems. We talked about the spine, that sometimes they are other conditions that are not directly caused by the bone issue, but because as an effect of a systemic problem. And for children, one of those things could be a bone tumor or even a blood tumor that may present in the form of bone pain. So children have a variety of presentations, they have a variety of causes. The important thing is not to sit on it. If you think this is persistent or it's recurrent, it's not getting better, please seek help, because then you're able to identify. With adults, again, we have a whole host. I mentioned earlier that there are over 100 types of arthritic conditions. So again, if you have an adult who is presenting with recurrent swelling of the joint, it's painful, it's stiff, they can't move it as well, they're starting to see deformities, so a limb or an area of the joint or a bone that was initially straight is starting to look crooked or swollen. Don't sit on it. Go in, see a doctor, be assessed fully, even from the primary care level, but ideally you want to be able to get to a specialist level, because they can identify almost fairly straightforward or in a timely manner what exactly is going on. And then from that perspective, you can then treat early and minimize the long-term effects that people will suffer from if they do have these established arthritic conditions.
How is NAFILD marking the global awareness?
So we are saying, please move early. keep your joints moving. We've said this throughout.
I'm moving.
Yes. We live very busy lives. We live in an urban environment. We're working long hours. Some people are at work from 6 a.m. till 9, 10 p.m. at night. Where are you going to find the time to go to the gym or go for a walk? We say try and infuse it, because joints is life. Movement is life. Infuse it in your day, If it is that you are going to work by public transport, maybe walk a kilometer or two before you get into a public car and continue to work. Or if it's coming back. If you work in a building or you have a house that has multiple stairs, use the stairs, don't use the lift. Park at the farthest corner of the car park and walk to your building. Don't get dropped off right at the front steps, So these are things that you can do. Eat healthily, because we promote healthy living. So it's not just about physical, but it's about mental, it's about psychological, and it's about also what you're eating, your nutrition. So make sure you're eating well. We've talked about keeping an ideal body weight. One of the things that affects arthritis is obesity. So when we find patients are obese, they are increased risk of problems with arthritis. Osteoarthritis or degenerative arthritis, we know it's a risk factor. Something like inflammatory arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, we know obesity makes it worse. So those are things that we can incorporate. And then the foods we eat. Some of the foods we eat actually increase inflammation in your body. So we need to be mindful about that. And that's a whole different conversation.
Of course.
At least if you have the awareness, you can start asking the questions. You can start looking for the answers. So the food that we eat is important. And then rest. Rest. Sleep well, hydrate well. All of that encompasses healthy bones, healthy joints, and a healthy body.
Dr. Agriolins,
I think she said it all.
you have a webinar coming up?
Yes, on the 23rd.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, on the 23rd. And that would deal with some interventions to limit or prevent musculoskeletal pain. Right. Yes.
Okay.
The webinar is open, so
It's
again,
open to the
it
public.
also gives the audience the opportunity, if they join, to ask maybe specific questions that we have not been able to address today.
Okay, all right. So please, let's all go to Nuffield Clinic. When can I come around? I'm constantly complaining of my back. So please, join me. Let's all go to Nuffield Clinic. Where are you located, by the way, so that people can find you easily?
In Osu, by the Salvation Army headquarters.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So right from this show, we're all headed to Osu. We're going to check our joints, we're going to check our bones, please. So that in the near future, when you are climbing staircases, say, hey, me go to Mrs. That's Dr. Mami Batmemi Satha. She's a rheumatology specialist at Nuffield Clinic. Dr. James Agriolins is orthopedic and trauma surgeon also at Nuffield Clinic. We're still staying on the health alert.
The current state of nurse deployment in Ghana is quite concerning. Every year in Ghana, we have thousands of nursing graduates who complete rigorous diploma and degree programs. They pass their licensure exams and even go through the mandatory 1-year national service, or what we term as the rotation. But after meeting all these requirements, many of them still find themselves waiting, sometimes 3 or even 4 years before they are permanently posted or being employed. And I think this waiting period has become what I call a silent crisis in Ghana. These are the trained, licensed professionals ready to serve, yet unable to practice because of systemic delays and employment bottlenecks. Just to put it in perspective, I think recent figures presented in Parliament by the Minister of Health indicates that nearly 48,878 qualified nurses are currently at home, waiting for posting. And that includes about 15,900 from the 2021 batch, about 17,100 from the 2022 batch, and 15,700 from 2023 batch. So it's not just a minor issue. I think it's a national concern that needs urgent attention in our country.
Now, what happens to these nurses after continuous stay at home, after they've graduated from the various nursing schools, and then to the overall healthcare system and delivery?
You know, honestly, for many of these nurses, life after training doesn't go the way they expected. Some give up on nursing altogether, and some even start small businesses like sewing, selling, and hair making just to make ends meet. But during that time, their morale really drops. I have a lot of students in the country. I have trained, I do talk to them. Most of them, we do encourage them. But most of them, their morale drops. The most saddest aspect to me as a nurse is that I feel like their clinical skills start to fade. Others manage to find work in private hospitals or private clinics, but the pay is usually low, and others not much room to grow. So after waiting for so long, a lot of them also get frustrated and start looking outside the country for better opportunities. And that's where we start losing our skilled professionals to migration. So what starts as a short waiting period eventually ends up becoming a permanent loss to the country. The government of Ghana trains them. And that's something our healthcare system really can't afford right now. We are losing our trained professionals. And I think something should be done about it.
That's something that should be done about it. In your estimation, what can be done in the shortest possible time?
Yes, so in the shortest possible time, I think there are some few practical things we can do. First, the government can make sure nurses are posted right after national service, just like you see in other countries, where the graduates move straight into practice without long waiting periods. Again, I think the hospital should be given the funds and authority to hire directly, instead of waiting for long approvals from the central level. And that would also speed up things a lot. And for those who are still waiting, we can organize some short refresher or orientation program to keep their clinical skills sharp. It is sometimes like other countries do these things regularly to make a big difference in maintaining readiness and confidence level among these graduates. So I think these small practical steps can really help us keep our nurses active, motivated, and ready to serve.
What are your thoughts on Ghana's MOU with Grenada on nurse export?
Yes, that's a very good thing. I think it was on Friday that honestly I heard or saw that news. And I think the Ghana-Grenada agreement to me has a two sides to it. On one hand, it's a great opportunity for nurses who have finished training and are still sitting at home waiting for posting. It gives them a chance to finally put their skills to use, and that's the good news. But I also think we need to be clear about which group of nurses this targets. If it's targeting the newly trained nurses, then there should definitely be a refresher or transition program before they leave the country, just to make sure they are clinically ready and meet international standards. Now, if it is experienced nurses who are already working, then we also have to consider the gap it's going to create. The gap it leaves behind. Losing skilled nurses could affect mentorship and the overall quality of care in our facilities. So to me, while it's a positive step in some ways, I think it should be a part of a bigger balanced workforce plan, one that helps our nurses find opportunities, but also protects the strength of our healthcare system at home. You know, according to the Minister for Health, recently he stated that over 13 countries have formally expressed interest in recruiting Ghanaian nurses. That's a good move. That's a good thing. But before they leave, there should be a refresher workshop or transition program just to make sure they meet the international standards. And if experienced ones are leaving, let's take note of the gap it's going to create at the health sector.
Now, if you had one message for policymakers with regards to idle nurses, i.e. nurse deployment challenges, what would it be?
I would say Ghana already has the people we need. We have the human resource. Our nurses are well trained. They are licensed and ready to serve. What they need right now is not sympathy, it's opportunity. So we should not let our skills and potential go to waste by keeping them idle at home. Let's post them now. Let's empower them and allow them to do whatever they have been trained to do. Let's give them the chance to take care of our people. And I think this goes beyond just finding them jobs. It's really about protecting our national health. And when our nurses are working, our entire healthcare system is stronger. They don't need sympathy now. They need the opportunity to practice.
Okay, Hannah. I have to let you go, but I want to take your thoughts on that nurse that had a spat with the health minister. There were calls for a sanction, and later the health minister himself pleaded for clemency for her.
Yes. I think professionally we train our students on how to communicate. So the only challenge that, I will not just say the only challenge, but what I would say is that one challenge I have with that issue was the mode of communication. The mode of communication. We have a professional way of communicating. Even to our patients, we teach them therapeutic communication. So the issue has to deal with communication. The minister acted as a father, as a big brother. And that is why I think he stepped in. But the lady poured her annoyance, her grievances, but I think it was not professionally done, and it has been dealt with. So we should post them. We should give them the opportunity to practice, and I think we will not be encountering such issues or incidents in the country.
All right, Hannah. The health minister has given some assurances. Do you trust these assurances, especially with regards to salary relief?
I do trust these assurances because he's in power. He knows his staff. He knows the sort of communication going on underground. And I trust that. I think he has his hands on and he's doing his best. So I trust that.
Okay. That's Hannah Duwaude, who is a nurse educator and advocates for nursing workforce development. I am back shortly. Of them were children who died. The vice president was there. She commiserated with the family. 4 people survived that accident. And then as we speak, rescue efforts are still underway in search of one person who has gone missing as a result of that incident. Now, a group or a company says they have a solution to stemming the tide when it comes to incidents on the Volta Lake. This morning I've been joined by Daniel Ante, his business development manager for ECOZOL, and Ya Ofewa, she's national coordinator, Volta Lake Transport Safety Project under ECOZOL. Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are we doing? It's good to have you.
Yeah.
Now, let me start with you. You are the coordinator for safety on the Volta Lake, and from 2011, we've witnessed a number of incidents on the Volta Lake. In the last 3-4 years, between 2022, 2023, 2024, and then this year, we've witnessed a number of unfortunate, needless deaths on the Volta Lake. How safe is the Volta Lake when it comes to inland water transport?
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
When it comes to the safety of commuters on the Volta Lake, on a scale of 1 to 10, I will grade it a 4. Yes, a 4 in the sense that if people are traveling on the pontoon, it's safe because they have measures to ensure that people are safe. But we have few of these, and it is owned by the Volta Lake Transport Company. But then, majority of the people that travel on the lake have individual canoes, wooden canoes. And most of them to the areas where they travel are on the islands. These are places that we usually have casualties. And then on the canoes, individuals that own these do not ensure that people that bought these canoes are safe at all. Probably they are just running a trotro in quotes on the lake. You just get on, and if you are lucky, you get to your destination. No safety protocols, nothing. So the traveling on the lake is not that safe at all.
So what are we missing in this puzzle in our quest to use? I mean, they say that one of the safest ways to travel or to transport people is by water and by air. But in the last couple of months, it has shown, studies have shown, and even, evidence has shown that it is not the safest as we speak. What are we missing in this whole puzzle? What's wrong?
The assertion that it is the safest is very true. Water is one of the safest ways to commute. What we are missing is safety.
Okay.
Yes. As a country, I believe that safety measures to use our lake has not really been put into the highest form. We need stronger regulations around the lake, traveling on the lake. And that is what we are missing as a country. Individuals do whatever they like on the lake. And that is how come we are having all these accidents and needless deaths.
Now, Daniel, ECOSOL says it has a solution to this. What's the solution? Practically, what are you bringing to the ordinary Ghanaian?
Okay, so practically, this is something we've done before.
Okay.
So we mentioned the Volta Lake Transport Safety Project. In 2012, this project was introduced under the Ministry of Transportation. So what it sought to do was to employ youth along the Volta Lake, equip them with basic survival and swimming skills, and we train them as lifeguards. And then on daily basis, what they do is to be on the in the community, ensure that the boats are safe, ensure that people wear their life jackets. They also ensure that the boat owners do not overload. And then basically that was it. And also handle the sanitation aspect along the river banks. In fact, this project was not only on the Volta Lake alone, but it cut across every inland water travel that we had in the country. Then again in 2021, the ministry brought it back because between 2015 and then 2020 that this project went off, this accident started again because there was no distribution of life jackets, the lifeguards were no more there, and then even a lot of unemployment. So the project was brought back in 2021. Unfortunately, it was just for 1 year.
Okay.
As a company, we tried holding it even after it was not renewed by the government until somewhere last year. But, you know, the resources that we have to commit to this, distributing free life jackets, training these people, paying people, because the previous project, which was actually not renewed, had employed about 3,100 youth along the Volta Lake.
Okay.
So you can just, and thousands of them were trained by the Ghana Navy. So there was safety. There has been people we've spoken along the Bono East region that they will tell you anytime there is an accident, they call upon these people and they swiftly respond to it. Unfortunately, if we had these men on the ground in the recent accidents, I don't think this would have happened. In the first place, the life jackets would have been enforced and people would have worn it. They would have gone to rescue the people. So the solution is to bring this project back, whether with the Ministry of Transport, the VRA. I include the VRA because the Volta Lake belongs to the VRA. And hitherto, before the creation of the Volta Lake, these communities were living in their towns. They were okay. They had to sacrifice their communities for the entire country to enjoy electricity. And it becomes our responsibility as a nation to take care of them, to ensure that they have safe travels and make sure their socioeconomic life still goes on. So it is more of the government now intervening as a social responsibility to take care of these people, because these are actually poverty-stricken areas. We look at the communities along the Volta Lake, most of them, even the economic activities, they are very low. It's usually farming. And we really need these projects back.
So what then do you expect government to do in the immediate if we are to save people on these water bodies?
So on the immediate, we are still engaging the Ministry of Transport to bring the project back. Aside that, to enforce or make up certain regulations and then legislation as well. Because no one just buys a car, gets up and then puts it on the road. These cars are taken to DVLA. We make sure they are roadworthy. We make sure there are laws guiding this. Even you cannot drive. If you drive on the road and the police catches you without seat belts, you'll be arrested. As we sit down today, there is no law that we can state that it is compulsory for you to wear your life jacket. I can mention that between 2021 up to 2024, we distributed no less than 50 life jackets. But you go to these communities, they are not wearing them because there is no law enforcing this. The Navy complains, the GMA complains because there is no legislation. And we call for legislation before we can enforce, and then the government to bring back such projects and such interventions so that we safeguard travels on the lake.
Yeah. In summary, how do we prevent these needless deaths and also make sure that the people out there have a livelihood?
So to add to what my colleague said, he mentioned the recent project employing about 3,100 people. But in the former one, from 2015 to 2012 to 2015, it employed 8,400 youth along these coastal Volta Lake communities. So we are calling on government and its arms to re-engage with us so that through this project we can give a lot of employment to the youth for them to earn something instead of just wallowing in poverty and all that. Again, we are calling on government and the Ghana Navy, in fact, even Ministry of Energy, we are calling on them because Akosomo, VR and everything falls under them. They should all come on board, Ministry of Transport, for us to push the agenda of safety on the Volta Lake. Because if we are able to do this, not only will people be safe, we will boost our tourism sector as well. Because people would love to spend time around the Volta Lake, visit these communities, knowing that traveling on the lake is safer. And so we are calling on government to reaffirm and reassure and re-engage us on the safety projects.
You donated some life jackets to the people. When was this?
We donated life jackets specifically.
Oh, for children?
Yes,
okay.
Because we took notice of the vice president taking some life jackets to the village where the incident happened. And on the record, children were the most that died.
11 of them.
11 of them. We've also recorded, in our line of duty, we recorded some incidents where children were trying to even access education, go to school, and they died. And so we are very passionate about the kids. So we took about 200 life jackets to these kids. We took time to educate them on how to use them and encourage them to also use them. This happened on Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. How many life jackets did you do?
About 200 of them.
200 of them. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay.
We can do more.
So you will do more, obviously.
Yes.
So that's what is on the screen. And did you take these children through how to properly use it? And beyond gifting it, who has custody of these life jackets?
Okay, so we actually handed it to the community head.
Okay.
There was something like a mini Deba to engage with them. And then we really took time to educate them. We demonstrated how to use the life jacket to these kids, and we encouraged them to use them as well. And also added reasons why they should use them.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's Yaa Oforiwa. She's National Coordinator, Volta Lake Transport Safety Project for Ecozoil, and Daniel Lamte, he's Business Development Manager for Ecozoil. They are calling for a reviving of the Volta Lake Transport Safety Project so that we can minimize the incidence of these accidents and then reverse the needless deaths we keep experiencing on the Volta Lake. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Let's do some celebrations now. Happy birthday, William Kwame Adinkra. Grow graciously in full of wisdom and knowledge for mom and everyone. Happy 60th birthday, Dad. You've been our hero, our teacher, and our biggest supporter. We're so proud to be your kids and so grateful for everything you've done for us. Here's to 60 amazing years of love, wisdom, and laughter, and many more to come. We love you, your kids, Tete, Godwill, Daniel, and Dede. May this year be a stepping stone towards your greatest achievements. Happy birthday, Lord Dynamo. As you celebrate your birthday, I wish to acknowledge your remarkable journey as a circuit court judge and your upcoming elevation to the High Court. Your dedication to upholding justice and your expertise in the judiciary has earned you great respect. I wish you continued success, good health, and happiness in this new chapter of your life. Mrs. Sedinam Awo Kwadam, Saturday was your birthday for Motula Unisa and the entire Star FM and GHOne TV team. You are another year older but still killing it. Happy birthday to you, Mrs. Afferson. You've been more than a big sis to me, and I appreciate that a lot. God bless you, from Shushu's godmother. Belated happy birthday, Rejoice Mina Maunyo Ankra. Wishing you a joyous celebration and all your favorite things. May this special day mark the beginning of an amazing year ahead. Cheers to another year of life, growth, and success. Best wishes from your friends and loved ones. Warmest birthday wishes to an exceptional public servant, Adelina Awobafu, Gomoa East District Administrative Officer of the Electoral Commission. May your special day be as bright as your future. Here's to making more significant contributions to Ghana's electoral process from your friends, colleagues, and loved ones. Happy birthday to Mrs. Vida Ajay from the Champons. We wish you long life with good health. Enjoy your day, Mrs. We love you. "80 years of grace, wisdom, and unconditional love. We're grateful to celebrate our mother today, our pillar, our prayer warrior, and our blessing. Happy 80th birthday, Mommy. Comfort to say from the Dakwa family." Happy birthday, Minister Pa Kofi. God bless you richly and grant you grace to do exploits. We're proud of you. From the Miracle Heralds of BBC Assemblies of God to our super music director. Happy birthday, Linda. You've been so resilient. I'm so proud of you and what you've accomplished, regardless of the trying times. May you find favor from God and man. You get better, and very soon I know you get your own shop and accessories. So enjoy your day, from Jones. Now, have you guys heard the latest from MTN? If not, lend me your ears for a couple of seconds. For those of you who love MTN Free After One, prepare for the upgraded experience. That is MTN Free After One Extra. Now, let me tell you what the extra is all about. With MTN Free After One Extra, you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes that you talk, which means for every 10 minutes you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute, and you will get to talk 60 minutes straight with no interruptions. You like what you hear? Well, that is not enough. You also get 50 megawatts of data for free after your first call daily. So you see, now's the time to talk extra with all the people that you love. So subscribe to MTN Free After One Extra today by just dialing star 550 hash repeat, and then follow the prompts. My name is Lily Mohammed. I'll see you again at 11:30. Bye for now. I'm tired.